Welcome to episode 23 of the current Backloggers. The date is July 16th. I am your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how's it going today?
Really good. I was expecting a loud one.
Yeah, before we started, I even said I'm going to wind up, so I was trying to get you to think that and then do the NPR that we've been waiting for.
Oh, NPR.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're unbiased. Very unbiased.
You know, somebody at work, you know him too, told me just a few days ago, laughed at me for saying that they were a little biased. He acted like I was an idiot he's like, are you talking about NPR? You really think they're biased? And he was serious.
Even the fact you said a little biased, it's like you just listen for 20 minutes, you're like, oh yeah, that's a far left. I make sure to start recording. You said I know them?
Yeah, so we can talk about off air, as you could say.
I can do the Joe Rogan thing. Write it down on a piece of paper. I have to know.
Okay, you fill yourself in for a second there.
Yeah, they're definitely. It's crazy because they take tax money, and they're incredibly biased, and they can sway elections.
Type similar there.
Oh, yeah. You kind of threw me off for a second there, and you probably know why. Because I was like, I never said that. Yeah.
No, I hear you. So, what have you been up to, buddy?
I did some yard work this week. I tried to clear some dirt out of this like little spout thing, and then this guy came over and cleaned out my gutters, fixed them for me. He's supposed to come today and do some more work, but he never showed up, so I don't know what he's doing. But then girlfriend's parents bought us a grill, so I was grilling. I didn't know this, but if you have a lot of fat on your meat and you flip it and you pour the fat straight on an open flame, big old fireball will come up. We got a great photo of I don't know how big the fire flame was, but at the moment it felt like maybe 2 or 3 foot flame of the fat on the propane. But yeah, I made some really overdone steaks on them with some really bad burgers, but you know, it's a learning process.
Do you think you learned?
Learned?
Yeah.
I learned it's a lot easier to cook inside. I don't get, oh, let's take all of our belongings and go outside and cook on something that's not as good as an oven or as convenient.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like us pretending like we're like, oh, we're kind of like cavemen? Like it's hitting something deep in our evolutionary DNA or something like, oh, this is what our ancestors did.
You know, I'm not sure, because the only thing I'd even potentially eat on a grill is corn on the cob or grilled cheese, and that's it. So I'm probably the wrong guy for this.
You know, I was going to give you shit because, like, you don't do that on a grill, but then it's literally called a grilled cheese, so it's in the name. Have you ever done that?
I haven't, but my brother used to. Yeah, because everybody said the same thing. Every time I say that, they're like, you can't do that. It's on a stove. And I was like, it's literally called grilled cheese.
Yeah, I couldn't argue that.
He used to make them really good. I'm sure I'd fucking just destroy it, but if you do it right, it's really good.
Yeah, and grilled corn on the cob can be really iffy too, because that can get a real nasty burnt taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood it, man. It's like, oh, let's grab all of our belongings and let flies land on all of our stuff. And let's get this really high. Like, it's 500 degrees. You lift that thing up, and it's already 100 degrees outside. It's like, why are we doing this? But we can pretend that we're natives and we're living a nomadic lifestyle in our backyard.
Probably a little too soon to talk about the natives. But what else have you been up to, buddy?
That's it, man.
That's it. I gotcha. So I've been working, per usual. I took a good amount of overtime this week, though. So, actually every day this week I took overtime, besides my off days. So, been working a lot, and besides that, I thought we were supposed to open pause before the podcast. I'm joking. I don't even know if they could actually hear that one anyways. Might just sound like a gross little fart in the background. Um, but besides that, I haven't been up to a whole lot either. But I did go to another drive-in a few days ago to watch Happy Gilmore, which I haven't seen in quite some time, but it holds up and it's still hilarious. I do feel like it's definitely the kind of movie that it holds up if you saw it. I feel like if you've never seen that movie and watch it now, it'll probably just seem really dumb and cheesy. So I feel like it's kind of definitely a nostalgia thing.
That sucks because, like, if I ever have kids, I want to show them all this stuff.
I don't know. I could be wrong. And I feel like if they're really little kids, or, I mean, little kids, not obviously don't want to show an infant that or something, but like a 10-year-old or something, I think they might find it funny just because, like, inappropriate and like that. But I feel like all the TikTokers or that demographic of people, if they haven't seen it, would probably just think it's so dumb because humor is so different now. But I do feel like as a kid, you probably still would just find it funny for the fact that it's so over the top and seems kind of offensive and wild, even though it's pretty innocent for the most part if you think about it.
I honestly, that whole TikToker genre, whatever that is, I couldn't give a shit about their opinions. I see some of the shit. My nephew's part of it. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Oh yeah, I'm not defending it. I just was thinking how much comedy has changed, even aside from TikTok. Like any like big comedy movie is so different than Happy Gilmore.
My nephew lost his phone because my sister's like, you're in trouble, so you're grounded, so you can't use it. And he got pissed because he's worried about his clout. If you're not uploading daily to TikTok, you could fall in the what they're promoting. It was pretty ridiculous. He's 13. His TikTok clout.
I was also thinking, I don't think I've ever talked about it on a podcast, but I know I've talked about it with you many times, that I think Adam Sandler gets way too much hate because I think he's put out some movies that are absolutely horrendous. But I feel like it's a common thought, and I feel like just everybody naturally agrees that after like 99, he hasn't made a single good movie. And I feel like there's so many amazing movies, and a lot of them better than his earlier movies. If you watch them now, there is just some horrendous ones sprinkled in there that people just focus on those and then don't even see the other ones, and just everybody agrees he sucks now.
Yeah.
But one thing that I haven't really ever thought about is, like I said, Happy Gilmore's style of humor is so different than how humor is now. So I feel like people, again, just don't even know what they want. Like, I feel like if he just never changed that comedy, people would say he's not funny anymore. And I think even for me, I wouldn't think he's just automatically not funny, but I think probably the same thing I do with a lot of comedians in movies, that they just do the same role over and over and have no variety. And even though they can, like Russell Brand or Melissa McCarthy, all these people had really funny movies, Zach Galifianakis, but then they just keep doing the same thing and never change it. I feel like it gets old and it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about it in that sense. Like I said, I do think he gets way too much hate, and I think he's put out plenty of good movies in between the horrendous ones. But I never really thought about it from that angle until I watched Happy Gilmore and saw how dated it was, even though it's good. But if that movie just movies came out like that over and over, like that, Waterboy, Little Nicky, people would make fun of that even more than they do now that he's done different stuff and stayed current and seems relevant.
Yeah, it's either you like Adam Sandler or you hate him. And we're not even like him. Like, usually people love him or hate him, and I'm definitely in the love camp. He's made some really good movies. I think even the bad ones, like Jack and Jill, I think are so bad that they're great. Like, I was in high school when that came out, and I watched it probably about 3 times. I loved it. It was so dumb. Especially, how did they get Al Pacino to do that? Cappuccino. That movie is so bad. It's a fucking artwork. So I can't even. I'm sitting here trying to think of a bad one, because usually if you love Adam Sandler, it's a pretty split group. Either you like Zohan or you hate Zohan, and I liked it. Where you lie?
Definitely the opposite. And
Really, you hated it?
yeah, and I went into it, like I said, I think it's weird how people just label him terrible after a certain time period. Because I feel like they're obviously not giving these movies a chance and just saw some terrible ones, or very possible some didn't even see the terrible ones. They just hear what other people say and then start just repeating the same things. But that's my thing. I think there are some horrendous ones in there. But I think most of the time in the trailers you can spot the ones that are going to be truly terrible, so I usually don't even see them. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'll be wrong, and if I saw them, I'd be like, man, I'm just like these people, and these ones are funny. But Don't Mess with the Zohan was, I feel like, an exception in that. But I went into it, and I was like, this movie's going to be fucking hilarious. It looks so great. And I laughed at probably 2 times, and there was kind of like, not pity laughs, because I did laugh, but just kind of like chuckles. So I was real upset. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, man. I really like everything Adam Sandler does. I think some of his best movies were after '99.
Yeah. Mr. Deeds is my favorite movie of his, and that was like probably, 2006, 7?
And it's weird to think, I think commercially Little Nicky failed.
Oh, I'm sure it did, yeah.
But
I loved it, but
my friend group, when that was in theaters, it was like the biggest thing. It's like,
yeah.
Did you guys go see it? Oh, it's so good.
I never really thought about how long he stayed relevant either, because we always talked about how our parents talked about the 80s like it was yesterday, and we did that with the 90s. And he was popular maybe in like the late 80s because of SNL.
And
maybe.
Bill Cosby show.
Yeah. So,
Cockroach?
yeah.
What's his name on that show?
So he stayed relevant, like extremely relevant too, not just like he's there, but for like over 3 decades now.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some bad movies in a multiple-decade career.
He's just iconic, especially for our generation. I love him, especially you see him come to award ceremonies. Everyone's in tuxes, and he just looks like he just dropped his kids off at soccer practice or something. He just looks just tired and exhausted.
That's what I was going to say. That's one of my favorite things about him. Maybe it'll be one of those things where we hyped up in our heads and he's complete opposite and be a total douchebag, but from everything it seems, and like I say, he's been relevant for multiple decades, so I think something would have came out or you would have seen some video or something. He just seems like the most down-to-earth guy and seems so unaware how much money he's made in his career and how famous he is.
Yeah. And the serious movies are some of my favorite movies of all time. I know we've talked about that plenty of times, but Reign Over Me, oh gosh, what is the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman? Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, I was going to say he in that.
Punch Drunk Love, Reign Over Me, Uncut Gems, and then I think the one that's based on his life, I feel, is Funny People. You watch that?
Yeah, I really like that movie.
Good.
The other ones aside from Uncut Gems, 'cause I actually haven't seen that yet. I think I told you, but I think those movies are amazing, but they're not for me. They're too depressing and too serious, but I feel like, again, that's a sign of how good they are. Like sometimes like those movies suck, and I can see how good they are. I just don't think they're for me at all. And I feel like people, as we know, have a hard time of recognizing that because everything's just so black and white that if you love something or you hate it. But I think those movies are amazing, just not for me. And it's crazy how he can go from, like we said, being silly and funny to something like that.
And I think one that blends both of those is Click.
Yeah.
It's another good one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, here's another one that's so bad it's good. You ready? I forgot about this. It just popped in my head. Bedtime Stories.
Oh yeah, that's for me. I don't even think that one's so bad. That's good because I feel like I went into it knowing it was a kids movie. So for me, I was like, that was actually pretty good for a kids movie because I expect it to be ridiculous and dumb. So I think if it was trying to be on the same level as his other movies, it would be dumb. But I feel like it was so aimed towards kids that I was kind of ready for like a silly thing like that.
You know, I think I've seen every one of his movies. I'm trying to think.
Really?
I can't think of one. I'll have to go through his IMDb, but I've seen a majority of them.
Let me ask you this one because I feel like it's something you've probably seen. And you're like, wait, you haven't seen that? Because my manager at work freaked out because I was talking about how much I like Adam Sandler. Have you seen a movie called Bulletproof?
Oh my God. I haven't seen it since it came out, but yes.
Yeah, he said one of the Wayans brothers were in it. As a
Yes.
kid, I loved them. I was like, wait, I haven't seen this movie. Really? And he started freaking out.
That was when we got our DVD player. That was one of our first DVDs. Not like the initial buy, but like a few months later we got that.
So I've been meaning to watch it. I watched the trailer because maybe I had seen this. I don't remember, and the trailer didn't do anything. Maybe I'll watch the whole thing and be like, oh, I've seen this. But I'm worried because I think this might be one of those things. But since I haven't seen it, it might not hold up because it looked 100 times more cheesy and outdated than Happy Gilmore, and so.
I think it's more serious too.
Oh, is it?
Like a cop drama, like funny cop drama.
Okay.
I haven't seen it forever, but yeah.
Okay. I told him I'll watch it soon, so I guess I could talk about it in here once I do.
Did you look at the cover? Like
Yeah.
The cover sticks out to me so much.
Yeah, that's what he showed me. Is you'll remember it? And I was like, usually I remember stuff like that, and that doesn't look familiar at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think I have. But once I watch it, I'll know for sure. Obviously.
That's a weird rush you just gave me there. Whoa. I've seen that cover.
And then after that, we stayed to watch the Columbus Crew game at the drive-in. I don't know if I told you that's where I watched it. It was fucking awesome.
Oh, okay.
And it was sold out, and people try to get the chants going and stuff, but that didn't last, unfortunately, all the chants they do at the game. But it was a lot of fun, and I think I've said to you in messages, but I've been meaning to talk on the podcast if all this nonsense kept up. The drive-in, I feel like, would be the perfect place to be able to show sporting events like the Blue Jackets games, Buckeyes, whatever, because even at bars or restaurants, a lot of them don't really let that many people in. And if you do, you're all spaced out, and there's all these weird restrictions and everything. And I feel like a drive-in is a perfect combination of not having to worry about that and still being around so many people. And then they did something creative that I didn't think about that would probably annoy some people, but I think sporting events is just all about being loud and being together and everything. They were using their horns every time they scored the goal, their car horns, to like do beats and chants and everything. This is fucking awesome. And like I said, I've been meaning to talk about that on the podcast for weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stole my idea, and I was fucking thrilled about it though, because I was like, I doubt anybody will actually do this. I just think it's a really good idea. But it was a ton of fun. They knocked, they didn't knock Cincinnati out, but they pretty much did, with a 4-0 victory, and it was amazing. And then we watched them again tonight, 2-0 against New York Red Bulls. It was a great time. That wasn't a drive-in, just here at our house. But it's obviously different with sports being back, but it's a nice change of pace, which is weird because if you'll remember just like a couple months ago, I was talking about as much as I love sports, I would prefer not to be here if we had nobody in the stands, and I think it would kill the energy and be a lot different, which I think is partly true. I think you definitely see a different vibe. But when we were watching it here, we watched the broadcast with the natural sound, which is just the players in the field. And then the second half, we watched it at the first half, and then the second half, we watched it with the fake audio of the crowd. And you said it, and I was going to tell you too, that it was actually better done than I thought it'd be. But it's not right, but it is still adds a little something. We didn't hear too much tonight, and we were all kind of talking and everything. But there is some weird times. Overall, they do good with it kind of sinking and actually seeming somewhat natural. But there is these weird times that you can tell like the audio wasn't lined up right, and they'll be like a golf clap after like it seems like a golf clap because something big will happen, and then there'll be like a 10-second pause, which doesn't sound very long, but in sports and cheering, that's a big deal because that means there's a 10-second delay and hundreds of thousands of people missing something. And then it's just kind of literally like a golf clap. So I feel like I can't imagine how you even engineer that, so I get how that happens. But I feel like it really takes you out of it when something like that happens.
I can see that, but I think just the dead quiet.
Yeah.
It reminds me when you're on like ESPN 6 and you're like found a weird ass sport
Yeah.
that no one's at already. That's what the audio sounds like. It just doesn't vibe right. So I feel like the pumped in noise was more natural than nothing.
I feel like soccer probably one of the easier sports to do it too, which makes me concerned if they tried in the NHL or the NFL, because soccer's so open and the big plays are so obvious when they're coming. I feel like NFL and NHL is so more fast-paced and there's not so much setup to it. And I also wonder if the NFL and NHL I don't think they're going to do like MLS does, and I feel like MLS doesn't go that strong on it, where there's like booing in it and everything. Because if there's like an extremely bad call in the NFL, it's real obvious, and I feel like the NFL is not going to go out of their way to point out bad calls and do that kind of stuff. In MLS, I think it's easier because play just keeps going, so they kind of just throw minor boos in there to make it feel more real. But there's like a horrendous call, you don't really hear it. So I don't know. It is better than I thought, but still definitely weird.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think that's all I've been up to. So we can move on to corrections, questions, and feedback. I know I got a few things. Do you got anything?
I feel like I did. I did, but then I don't think I threw them in the notes. No.
No.
Nope.
I know I talked about when I was streaming. I definitely messed up the audio again and did not switch it to mono, right? Is that what it should be on? Where it comes out both ears?
Mono is just one.
Okay, yeah, I left it on mono then when I meant to switch it over. So hope I'll remember to do that this episode because it's literally just a toggle, but once you upload it, then it's not just a toggle anymore. It's redoing like hours of work and a bunch of nonsense just to change one little setting, which I know it's not possible, but it'd be nice if on YouTube's end you could just click a button and fix it, but I know why that can't happen. And then when I was talking about the free games this week or last week, I guess, I realized I put the date wrong. It was only one day off, but we was trying to call ourselves out. On Xbox One, WRC 8, the official game, I said it ended on July 30th, and it's July 31st, so not a big deal, but that. And then we got an email from James.
Thanks, buddy.
Let
Exciting.
me pull it up here.
It's a good question, too.
Yeah, it's so good a question. I was just like, oh shit, I don't know what to answer because it's just a great question, really. Do you have yours? I can try and pull it. Well, I guess I should read it first, huh? So he said, if you guys had the opportunity to design your dream game, what kind of game would it be, and what kind of mechanics would it have? You want to start?
Sure, and I've already thought about this many times and have tried to make it before with mods on Minecraft. And I've gotten pretty close, but mods are a little funky. Mine would be like a mix between the customization or the building of Minecraft mixed with Total War. I combine the two to where it's almost like a steampunk world where you could build your own empire and talk to other empires and either go to war with them or what, and then build your buildings and your own vehicles, kind of like Spore, almost put a little Spore stuff in there. And it's basically like just an empire builder and then like RTS mechanics, but then you can also control your guy on the ground. There was a game I used to play all the time on PC. It's called like Heroes and something. I'll look it up and try to remember for the next episode. I still have it. But you could, it was RTS, but then you would control like an OP character on the ground that you would bounce, like you go into and be third person and then order your troops around. It's something like that, like a big empire builder. But I could also still control how the buildings look and what the vehicles look like, kind of like Spore or Minecraft. And then the resource building and trading and diplomacy of civilization mixed in there, and just slowly take over the world in Minecraft, or a Minecraft similar.
I feel like James is going to love that answer. It sounds like one of his games he'd play.
Yeah, no, that's and I tried to do it with mods. There's a really good French mod called Millionaire, or the French word for millionaire, however the hell you pronounce that, and that adds a lot in there. You can add weapons, and I tried to do that. It's just so finicky and runs on such an old version of Minecraft that I almost got it, but wasn't quite there, and it was just so upsetting. So I'm glad you asked that because I already had that prepared in my mind. Like that's if somebody gave me a team, that's what we'd be making. It probably would make no money, but I would be just happy. I had it.
Okay.
So what is yours?
I don't even have this for mine, but do you have any studio that you think would be perfect for that?
Oh,
Or developer or anything?
Yeah, probably Total War or if I want to get super simmy, because Total War would be good for the battle mechanics. It'd be nice to poach people that have worked on some of these games and build my own team. But maybe Total War team from Sega. Um, I don't know for the other one. Oh God, who's the guy that he makes really good Sims? Is it Peter? Let me look up his name. It'd be cool to team up with him.
You're not talking about Peter Molyneux, are you?
I think so.
Fable?
But what else has he made though?
I don't know. I know he made that weird ass mobile game that he tricked everybody into.
Sorry, I got him mixed up. I always get Peter Molyneux and Will Wright confused.
Oh, Will Wright.
Will
yeah.
Wright for
and
sure.
He did Spore.
Yeah, Will Wright. He's done a lot, dude. Like the sim games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Will Wright. I don't know why I always get these two guys confused. I mean, they're kind of similar, but not really.
Yeah. Okay. So mine, I definitely know the setting, and I feel like I know what I want the game to be, but I don't know how to describe it. So the setting, I would definitely want to be the Revolutionary War, because I feel like there's never really been a game that's truly done that. I know Assassin's Creed did it, but it's not. That's not what I'm talking about when I say Revolutionary War. And I feel like there's been so many war games, and they've covered majority of the wars, but they never touched that. And I know the biggest issue, and this is why I said I don't know what kind of game exactly, is that the weapon choice and the combat would be so different. But I feel like you could do a lot of interesting things with it to maybe not make it a normal shooter, maybe like, I was going to say add Bioshock elements into it, but not necessarily that. Like add your own kind of mechanics that don't seem ridiculous for the revolutionary time period and still make it history kind of thing. So mine, I don't know exactly what I want to be. I feel like I said, I can picture it in my head, but I don't know how to describe it exactly.
Like a steampunk? Like when you say like Bioshock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm describing it wrong, because I feel like if you do that, then it's not historical at all. And I feel like it would be really cool to be able to tell like a historical story about it instead of something fake. But we could go in that direction. That'd be interesting as well. You could literally make it a Bioshock game if you want to actually do a Revolutionary War in the Bioshock time period. And
was it Bioshock Infinite where they had, was it George Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been trying to think about it, but I don't know how exactly to explain it. But I would love anything like that. I feel like that's like the least explored time period in video games, which is so weird. Like I said, I do understand the mechanics would be, like the combat and everything would be very minimal, because there's not much you could work with as far as weapons and everything.
There was a super like simmy game that I played with me and my friend Gap played, where you would get in like groups with like redcoats or Americans, and you'd have like a guy yelling commands to you, like aim, fire, and then everybody would fire, and you see the rounds coming in. But it wasn't like nothing historical. It was purely just battles. And it was like a kind of army where you have like these guys that are taking like it's almost real war or a real war situation and screaming at you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, or do you want like a story-driven like narrative?
Yeah, I was thinking like story-driven. Because I'm sure there is games that have focused on that time period, but I feel like if they are, they're probably obscure games or PC games, not like something as well-known or a common thing.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Another game idea I have, since I didn't give like a true answer there, I'll give a couple. This is never going to happen, and it'd be oddly specific for us and most people listening. I've always dreamed of a game being set in Columbus, Ohio. I think it'd be like the coolest thing in the world. So I feel like the easiest answer is like an open world Grand Theft Auto style game, but in Columbus, which I don't like Grand Theft Auto, so I don't feel like that'd be me. But I feel like an interesting way you could do it, and actually maybe be somewhat realistic as far as it being a product that could maybe come out, is doing something like a walking simulator, but not just in Columbus. I feel like you could do a interesting thing with it, like as you walk through it, the time period changes, and you can see how the history of the city is changing and falling apart or coming together, and seeing the buildings build up around you. I feel like you could have a lot of interesting mechanics with that.
That would be sick. I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
It's a cool premise.
And like I said, Columbus is my favorite city that I've ever been to. I live here, but I've been to a lot of cities. It's my favorite city ever. And video games are one of my favorite things in the world. So I know it probably never happened, but I've always dreamed of that. Like I said, even Grand Theft Auto playing these massive, like, they're fake cities, but they're obviously modeled after, like, New York City or LA, all these things. I'm like, this is cool, but to me, I'd way rather have something that feels more like me. And even though I don't think they would do Columbus, I don't know why games and movies just always do that, just focus on these major things and don't seem to stray to other things, even if it's not Columbus. I feel like it's just so uncreative just to stick to these like 5 locations and everything.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like Miami.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I love preservation too. So from a preservation standpoint of just seeing what things look like.
That's one of the things I thought would be interesting, because I love Columbus and I feel like I know a good amount about the history, but looking at old pictures, like a good example of how I feel like you could do this and how it like change and everything, kind of explain maybe how the game would work a little better, would be like where Nationwide Arena is right now was the biggest prison in Ohio, and people still, like older people now, think downtown's like the dangerous place in the world, most dangerous place in the world, and they can't believe people go down there. Because if you look at old pictures, it does look horrifying. There's just a massive prison, like the size of a skyline type view, just a massive fucking prison. And looking at that, I can't even picture how that would, and I was alive for it, but, well, not alive for it being open, but still being there. I don't even remember seeing it. And also looking at Nationwide Arena now, I can't imagine that being in that spot. And this thing could not be here, but obviously it was, and it was much bigger in Nationwide Arena, so it covered so many things around there. So if you like walk through and see that changing as it happened, and seeing this thing being built up and then falling apart around you and what gets constructed above it, I feel like it'd be so cool and be able to do so much history with it. And then, like games like to do, and make sequels, and you could go to your New York if you wanted to. And as much as I would love Columbus, New York probably would be so much more crazy, because you would see like these like gangs in New York looking city, and then fucking one of the biggest cities in the world coming up around you.
Even like the small, tiny things, like a part of a Facebook group that for the first town I grew up in and the town I graduated high school from, I joined both similar Facebook groups, and it's just people from, I don't know, people who lived there in the 50s posting pictures that they took or talking about stores around the town. So even like a store standpoint, like I forgot that, like, oh my god, yeah, that store was there.
Yeah.
Just even that kind of aspect of it would be cool.
Yeah.
Because like just hearing you and some of my coworkers talk about the mall that was downtown.
Oh yeah, that
That'd be
too.
cool to see.
Yeah, now that's a giant park, so that's what I'm saying. It'd be cool, just mechanically and appearance in games, because I love games, but I feel like everything looks so samey that seeing something that's changing on the fly like that into a completely different landscape and colors and environment would already be fresh, but also, like you said, in a history standpoint too. And I feel like it would, that was my main thing, was history, because I said I see all these things and I know these things used to be there, but it's so hard to imagine that in your mind now, because the entire city and state is so different that you can't picture something like that being there. Like now it's a giant park, you're like, how would there be a mall here? You just like can't even picture what that'd be.
Yeah.
So we should probably make it happen.
Let's do it. Crowdfunding.
That could be our next project. So, James, we appreciate the question.
Most definitely.
I'm sorry I didn't give a better answer. If you want to tell us if you have a dream game, because I feel like you asked this question, so you probably have something in your mind. I know you're creative. You can let us know. We can talk about it next episode. And if anybody else has any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can send to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And then we can get in the news. You want to start? I'm sure we have some repeat ones.
Yeah, let me scroll down here to my news. News. Crazy thing came out, man, was that, you probably have it on your list, but the Mario Lego set, did you see it?
I didn't see anything new yet. What was it?
Oh, dude, it's so awesome. You probably have to look up a photo of it.
Oh, you mean the pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so awesome. Did you watch like the little presentation from Lego and Nintendo for it?
Yeah, no, I love that. That's I didn't really talk too much about the pictures, but I brought that up when I talked about how fucking expensive they were. Remember, to own all of it was like $500 or something. Unless that was a solo episode. I thought it was with you though.
Which Lego set are you talking about though?
The Mario ones.
No, they just announced a new one though. New Mario.
Oh really?
Part.
Maybe I didn't see that then.
It's awesome, dude. It's like a little CRT TV.
Oh, isn't that just an NES?
No, it comes with a TV, a working TV, controller, cartridge.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, but I didn't look into it.
Oh man, it looks awesome, and I hope eventually they'll add more cartridges. So basically, it's like a little CRT TV. You build the NES, and then the TV actually plays Mario, and you move Mario up and down. And if you grab Mario from another set, this like animatronic one, and put them up on top, then it creates audio for the game. Even has a little cartridge you plug in, has a wire for the controller, and a lot of it's usable. Like you can actually press the buttons on it. It's one of the most creative Lego sets I've ever seen, and I really want one, but not for the price.
I was gonna say, to get the regular set of all of them, which I guess a lot, was like $500. So I want to know the price of this thing.
So just the NES and TV cartridge and controller, without the noise maker, so you still need to spend the money to buy the little guy that makes the noise, is $230 just for one Lego set.
It's almost the price of Xbox One.
There's a lot of pieces. I forget how many pieces, but it was in the thousands, so you'd be working on it for a while. It comes out August 1st, and it's one of those things I think is going to be a huge hit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to sell out in an instant, and going to be on eBay for 4 or 5 times the amount.
Yeah.
If I had money, I would. If I had disposable income and a huge amount of it, I'd pick it up. But without that, no.
No,
I'm
I
not
hear
touching
you.
that. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
But, the next thing is during the new Call of Duty's development, they were bouncing around the idea of zombies. Did you see the screenshot of it? Oh, dude, that looked awesome. And the artist had made the mock-ups, and then Activision allowed him to upload it on Twitter. And I felt like maybe they were, this could create some buzz behind it.
Yeah.
But it was basically like a Russian, like Spetsnaz soldier and like 2 robots, kind of like doing the Michonne thing, where he's kind of holding on to 2 robots to almost like keep away other zombies. But it looked awesome because they kind of got away from that style, that campy humor movie
Oh, yeah, definitely.
style of it, which is I think would be awesome for it. Especially if they went more of like a Left 4 Dead style. Because it always felt like useless, like you never were doing anything, it just was endless and eventually you die.
Yeah, I think that's why. Well, I've never been the biggest Call of Duty fan in the world, as you know, but yeah, that's I especially cannot get into Call of Duty Zombies, which is so weird because I kind of like Call of Duty, like I said, and Zombies. I know everybody likes to hate on it and say it's overdone, but I fucking love Zombies.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe that could get me to Call of Duty, and everybody was obsessed with it, and I like that even less than Call of Duty. I was like, I cannot get into this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is things you can compete and technically beat it, but it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And mind-numbing. The next thing is Microsoft is officially launching the xCloud gaming streaming service in September.
I had that in mind.
Yeah, dude, it's shocking. It's going to be bundled with Game Pass currently at no additional cost. Once again, I don't know how financially they're making money off of that.
Yeah, Game Pass just keeps getting better and better, and if you're smart, or even now, if you do buy a ton of it before they raise the price, because that's why I said that was my worry, and I think You've probably heard him talk about that on Sacred Symbols. And that's exactly what I've been saying. And I don't think Colin completely understood it. He said how they're trying to trap people in because it's a Netflix thing. And that's why I said that I feel like it's definitely what they're going to try and do, because they're going to be so used to it and love it that you'll just, no matter what, just keep paying more. But then I feel like they're trying to be nice, which is rare for giant companies, or they don't have the best model or something, because they let you do that thing where you can add up to 2 or 3 years at the locked-in price, which Netflix and all these companies do not do anything like that.
Nope.
So I get what he's saying. So I thought that's what they were trying to do too. But the fact they're letting you lock it in at that price and there's no way they can change it is so crazy to me. We just get that, and especially that carries over to the next generation too, and you get on multiple generations at that price.
That's nuts, and it's like it's day one for their exclusives.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
the
the
next.
fuck is that even possible?
Yeah, Halo Infinite, you only had to buy it, which is fucking crazy.
Yep. The next thing I have is Microsoft is officially halting production of Xbox One X and Xbox One S All Digital Edition consoles.
I have that on mine too.
Yeah, man, in quotes, as we ramp into the future with Xbox Series X, we're taking the natural step of stopping production on Xbox One X and Xbox One S All Digital Editions, says Microsoft spokesperson in a statement to The Verge. This is all from a Verge article. The Xbox One S, though, they're still making those. Continue to ship those out. Which is weird. You think they'd want to make the Xbox One X's and not the S's.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts about it, because, yeah, at first I was like, this cannot be real. They're just discontinuing all of these, but then I did see those certain models, and then I started thinking about it. I could be completely wrong, but I think it does make complete sense. I feel like they're getting rid of those two models because S is the cheapest model. Well, not the cheapest, but I don't think they want all digital as their Xbox on the shelves. But
I don't think that was a popular one either.
yeah. But I think S makes a lot more sense than the X, because I think they want something so much cheaper than the Xbox Series X, so it's not like, well, which one do I get? And also so they can easily sell the old generation, since they're going to be focused on the new generation.
So this means the Cyberpunk ones are going to just even get even rarer.
Uh-huh. And I think the biggest reason they're probably doing it is because I don't know exactly how it works, but I've always heard at stores that you're paying for the stores, the amount of area you want in a store. So if you're having to stock 4 different consoles, or potentially 5 or 7, depending on how many different models that the Series X are going to have.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I feel like that has to be the reason, and might point to a sign that there is going to be, for sure, maybe more models with the Series X. And I do think it's weird that they discontinued it, because I feel like the store shelf part, I think, is, like, definitely a big factor. But you think they would just continue production and then let you buy it online at least. But I guess also, when this stuff ends production, we always see it available for years and years anyway. So, you know, they're ending production. They probably still have millions of them floating around that they can sell for the next couple of years. I know they'll probably sell more now if people know that. They'll want to try and buy them and collect them or resell them. But I'm sure they produce millions of them that they're not going to be able to sell for a couple of years.
Yeah. But the next part of the news is there is a shortage in all game consoles right now, even retro stuff,
Yeah.
because of Corona. And especially reports of Xbox One X and Xbox One S shortages have surfaced in recent weeks. And this is also from another Verge article. Increased demand in Microsoft and Sony's current gen consoles during the pandemic. So, what I'm reading online, they expect maybe 1 or 2 more waves of console refreshments. If that's, I don't even know how you would say that. But, so what happens then? I don't know. Especially with retro gaming, it's going through the roof. Play it, trade it. They got, was it the Dispatch?
It's ABC 6.
ABC 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's getting kind of scary. There's specifically GameCube is getting a little bananas right now. I was fine with the SNES and Genesis stuff being kind of getting crazy and all that stuff, because, you know, those games were around when I was a kid, but I never had a real tie to them or nostalgia. But now it's affecting consoles that I do. and it's getting scary. I don't like it. Just prices are getting bananas on just dumb shit. Like Pokemon Bank doubled in value, which is fine if that was a normally priced game, but it's up to like $700. Fire Emblem on the GameCube is like $250. I did see it at a retro video game store for $200, and it's probably one of those things I'm gonna kick myself in the ass because I'll never see it again for that price. Just dumb shit, man. Steel Battalion is up to what?
That game was already can be crazy. So yeah.
Do you remember when I saw it at PAX?
Yeah.
For $200. I talked to the owner at Play It Trade It, and I was like, bro, I saw this, and he's like, whoa, he's like freaking out, and he's like, no way, congratulations. And I was like, oh, I didn't buy it though, I'll let it. And he's like, no. So yeah, it's up to like, I'm thinking somewhere right around $400 or $500 now. Futurama on the Xbox has gone up from probably like a $90 game to $170. It's getting bananas out there, and I've never seen retro video games go down. It might hit a plateau, but I think we're stuck here. And don't get me started on NCAA. You know how many times I had the chance to buy that game for $40, $50? I was like, bro, that's too much. I don't need that. And now it's over $100, $120, $130. I don't know what's happening. It's got to be the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think too, our generation are out of college and now they have disposable incomes too, so they're able to buy the shit that they always wanted. It just sucks, man, and it pisses me off because I want games and I don't want to pay ridiculous sums for them.
No, I hear you.
But yeah, that's all my news. So there's a video game shortage. Everybody thinks they have gold. I know me and friend Peter found a guy on Facebook selling a shit ton of video game stuff, and he had GameCube stuff. And we're like, yeah, we're interested in it. And it's pretty retail. And he was just like, no, I'm canceling this, man, due to the GameCube's prices going up. And he took everything down and refused to sell anything. It's really fucking annoying when these people have no knowledge of video games and they just see video. I was at a yard sale, and this guy was probably in his 70s. Got out his card. You have any video games? Was going to each yard sale and asking. Like, I know what you're doing. Your research. I fucking hate it, man. I really do. I get it why they're doing it, but it's the hot item that everybody asks. And you could watch resellers on YouTube, and they talk about it. They're like, I put a video game up and it sells immediately. And it's just a bolo. It's the number one bolo for everybody. Be on the lookout.
Is that a real term?
Bolo? Yeah, that's an eBay reseller term.
That's terrible.
Bolo, be on lookout.
That is horrendous. I hate that.
It's fucking annoying, man, because knowing the early times of me collecting video games.
Yeah.
And knowing what I could have bought for what I could have bought it for pisses me off.
No, I get that.
But yeah, that's all the news I have.
Okay. The first thing I had, I meant to talk about last week, I'm sure you saw, about games going up to $70 because NBA 2K21, I think it would be, came out at $70 on their listing. And it's been, like I said, I meant to talk about last week, it's been debated about like crazy now, but since I meant to talk about last week, I might as well talk about it now. But it seemed like that's what all games are going to be next generation, but then I don't know if you've seen some bigger games that you would expect to be $70 have been $60 on listings. So I don't know if those listings are just like stockholder things that are going to go up to $70, or it's hard to tell what's happening because so many things are cross-gen or be able to play on both or whatever, that I don't know if you can charge $70 on one and then $60 on the other, and that's why some are happening, or what it is. And I think it's pretty clear games need to go up to $70. I get both sides because I don't want to pay $70 at all. I would prefer to pay $60 or even less. But it does make complete sense how much games cost now to make and everything. and how much literally everything is going up around us except games. I know, especially parents, I'm sure you dealt with this when games went up to $60. It was the end of the world, and they just couldn't believe it was happening, even though like I said, everything else around us is going up. And then games don't change price for decades, and then again now like 15 years and they're changing, and then people do the same thing. And it's the craziest part to me is even if they all go up to $70, I feel like this is the cheapest of games I've ever been, because it used to be a game would come out at $50 or $60, whatever time period it was, and then you wouldn't see it drop down to $30 for a year if you're lucky. Now I feel like, unless it's a Nintendo first-party game, because somehow they just never drop their price ever.
Or Rockstar.
Yeah. I feel like if you wait 2 months, you can find almost any game for $30. So I get if you don't have the money. Like I said, I would prefer not to spend even $60. I'd want it to be cheaper, but I don't think that's gonna keep gaming going long term. But I feel like it's kind of like seeing a movie at midnight or like getting a console at launch. You're kind of paying a premium for getting it right then. If you want it right at launch, it's gonna be $70. But if you're okay waiting literally only maybe a couple months instead of a year like we used to, you can get it game cheaper than you ever would have back then. So I think it's kind of confusing for me.
I think there's a lot more ways for them to make revenue now.
Yeah.
I know they complain that they're not making enough money, but I think on the back ends of things, they're definitely making money. Especially Activision with some of these game passes or season passes or skins and things like that. But I also get it's not viable, man. I think THQ Nordic's in a good medium, like middle ground. And I think these companies need to realize like we don't need to be spending $100 million on making this game. But I think prices have to go up. They have to. Inflation, let alone it's bananas that they haven't gone up before. And I think some games, if they're 4 or 5 hours long, that's a $40 game. If a game is The Witcher 3, I could see that being $80, $90. Kind of like how the SNES was. You know, people talk about that a lot. How different pricing was in that generation.
Yeah.
And it always depended on the quality or the hours of the game.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a good point as far as microtransactions and game pass or season pass, all these things. I think that definitely does factor into it. Because I've heard people make that argument, and people be strong against that it doesn't matter. And I think that does factor into it. It's just like I said, I think that factors into it and it might be helping them. But I feel like overall, still it does have to go up. And also, like I said, that it just seems like a weird argument because when it used to be $50, it stayed $50 for so much longer than it does now at $60, and I'm sure at $70, as far as sales and the price dropping. That if you're that kind of person, you're probably not buying a game at launch anyways. If $10 or $20 is gonna matter that much more to you, so I feel like this would be better for you to be $60 or $70, and then in 2 months be able to get a game for $30 instead of buying a game for $60. It just seems odd to me.
I was actually just talking a couple days ago with Peter. I was like, man, when's the last time we actually paid retail for a game?
Yeah.
Because if I see a game I want at a retro store, and if it's not under price charting, I won't touch it. Because I think price charting is a good middle ground. Because it's like, you don't want to pay eBay prices. There's a certain game store here in Columbus, I won't mention him, but the guy runs a museum. He has no plans of selling anything in his store. He will go probably about 20%, 5 to 20% higher than eBay. And if I could sit at my house, click a button, see exactly what I want, exactly what condition I want delivered to my house in a few days, I'm not coming to your fucking store. There's no reason for me to come to your store. eBay returns are nice. They're friendly. If something doesn't work, there's no reason for you to think that you can charge eBay prices. So I go into this store knowing GameCube is going through the roof right now. Everything in their store is unmarked. You say you have to hold up stuff, say how much for this, and then a guy gets on price charting and goes, and then charges 10% more than what the price charting is saying, or eBay is saying. So I go in there, and there's already a guy there that's clearly a reseller, not a gamer. I'm guessing not a gamer because he's picking up the Bolo obvious Smash Bros. And if his Mario's on the cover, and he's like, how much for this? How much for this? And then he just had enough of it and was like, what? This is more than eBay. And the guy goes, well, yeah, it's because these guys were assholes, so I'm going to fuck them. I was in the store for 45 minutes looking at all their games, never said one thing to me, and I leave the store without saying goodbye. And they were huge dicks. As the door's closing, goodbye, or have a good day. But so you go in, everything's in display. He's got amazing stuff. It's beautiful in there. He's got really rare stuff, but it's behind display cases. And you go, how much for this? No, that's not for sale. He's got like old KB toy displays. It's a beautiful store. It's fun to go in and look because you're not buying anything. I don't get how he makes money, man. So the guy's like, well, why is this more than eBay? And he goes, well, it's because so you don't have to wait a few days to have it mailed to your house. You can have it right now. No, I'm not getting in my fucking car, fighting traffic for 10 minutes to come over here, waste my gas to hope you have what I need in stock and charge eBay. eBay prices is the highest amount that you should be buying games for because of the convenience and exactly what you want, and everything is in stock for a certain price. I don't come to fucking game stores to listen to you tell this one guy why you got fired at Pizza Hut instead of fucking talking to me, the customer, okay? And then when I walk out of your store without saying anything, and then you get shitty with me, and you're fucking running a goddamn museum. For example, Futurama, $140 eBay. Motherfucker asking $200 for it. That shit is not moving. Just shit like that. Has probably the biggest collection of Vita games I've ever seen on a shelf. Probably 100 games. Games $30 on eBay, $50 there. Who the fuck? I think people are just. He literally told the guy. He said, "Well, some people just want this stuff and they're not really looking up stuff and coming here and buy it." He admitted that he wants to get the clueless shopper. That's just like, "Oh, I want this. I had this as a kid." And it's like, how often is that person coming here versus the person like me that's spending? I probably, no joke, probably spend about $150 a week on retro video games.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You'll hear our gaming pickups.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till today because I said I was stopping. And I didn't stop. This train didn't stop. So you're just pissing me off. And guess what? I'm telling everybody I know about your store. Don't go there. If you want to see cool shit, go there, but don't expect to buy anything. But then play it, trade it. Amazing owner. I love that guy. I could have hugged him. But even the Hilliard location, I mainly go to the Hilliard location, and I went to the main location, and it's just a great experience, great prices, and they're really nice guys. So if you're ever in Columbus or you live in Columbus, check them out. Really good stores. What the hell were we talking about? I don't even remember.
I could tell because you just kept going. I didn't care. I was just like, oh, he's going to get I know
I
where we're
don't
going. It was the $70 games.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I don't even know how that even started. I was ready to pop off because I'm still so pissed off at them. So have a good day. Oh, I will. Thank you. Yeah, anyways, $70 game. I think it has to happen. I think something's got to give because if not, we could be looking at another video game crash. And with everybody making different consoles now, it's kind of looking like the 90s all over again or early 80s where it's like every company now has like a console.
Yeah.
Even Apple now is rumored to be doing stuff with consoles. That wasn't in my news, but I couldn't really find much info on it.
Yeah, I was going to say that's possible. I feel like we hear that every generation they haven't. So
yeah,
it probably is more likely now than ever because I know Steve Jobs was always the biggest thing holding that back because he always was against games.
Yeah.
So maybe there's more possible now, but still, that's probably just rumors, I'm guessing.
I wonder if letting Halo slip through his fingers
oh, I'm sure, yeah.
was ever changed his mind on that.
Yeah. In case anybody didn't know, that's where Halo's first shown was a Mac keynote and or Apple keynote for Mac, and they showed it on the Mac, and it doesn't look anything like Halo, but they brought
RTS, right?
Yeah, and it's third person. But But well, no, it was, I think they had two versions of their show at different times. There was a third-person shooter and an RTS, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, wild stuff. They didn't look anything like Halo, but it's still crazy thinking about them bringing Bungie on stage and what that turned into, especially that they went to Microsoft, which that was the biggest competitor at the time. Well, it still is, but I feel like it's changed a lot. I meant to talk about it last week or 2 weeks ago. It was crazy. I was watching Apple's keynote from their last one, whenever that was, and it's so weird to see how they changed from when Steve Jobs was there. They talked about their good friends at Microsoft and Google, and they said that multiple times. I was like, man, if he's still alive, he would probably fucking murder everybody at this company if you heard him say that.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I had to do a double take when I was hearing it. What? He brought Microsoft, and it wasn't like to diss them, and you said our good friends, and this is all so weird. Everything just coming together like this.
I do miss him, man. There was some really good highlights from when he was alive. Especially when shit wouldn't work on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so passive aggressive.
Also, when you were going on your rant, I think we got our first shirt and you didn't realize it. Like our first shirt we can sell.
Uh-oh.
You said these guys are such dicks, so I'm going to fuck them.
I did? I don't remember saying that. I think this guy seriously is I think his parents are wealthy and he just wants to own a game store and show off what he has. It's insane. You go in there, you're like, damn. You're taking photos is how nice some of this stuff is. Shit I haven't seen in forever. Like display cabinets for N64s and kiosks for every game system. And just that alone probably gave away what I'm talking about. But he's got a terrible fucking bowl cut, too, that I could just punch him right in the head. So, fuck him.
The next bit of news I had was Reggie Fils-Aimé. We talked, I don't know how many episodes ago now, about him joining GameStop's advisory board. DC, he also became a strategic advisor for, I've never even heard of this company, I'm not going to lie, but Rogue Games. Have you heard of that?
Why does that sound familiar?
I thought it sounded familiar too. I looked it up and I recognized one of their games. So I don't know if it's just 'cause it's such a generic name.
I was about to say, that's generic as fuck.
It's also weird that neither of us know what that is and somebody like him joined it. But I think it's also kind of cool that he joined something like that we don't know what it is and that it's not something expected. And he said he's still going to stay on GameStop's board as well. So it sounds like somebody that it's really cool that somebody that is obviously a multimillionaire and could just leave gaming altogether and not do anything probably the rest of his life, left something like Nintendo and is still going out of his way to do gaming things. I feel like that shows that he actually cared about games, but he's probably sick of that being his everyday life and being controlled by it. Not that Nintendo's a bad company or anything. I'm just saying anything that high up, when you're that high up at a giant company like that, I'm sure that's 110% of your time. But I just thought we'd bring that up since we talked about that last time. And then, like I said, I was curious that meant he was off of GameStop, but I said he's going to do both of those.
That's crazy. He already works on something else. I forget. There was something else he did before GameStop.
I know. I'm not sure if this is what you're thinking of. It wasn't, I don't know if it's called work. He was at some college. He was doing some course there or some.
Yeah, I remember that. And then there was something else, too. But you got to think, somebody that can operate as a CEO of a massive, successful company, they're on a whole different level. Like, if you listen to their schedule, it would make you tired. So I think he's doing it. It sounds like he's getting spread thin, but these guys operate at a whole different level. They don't retire. They're just robots. If you listen to Reggie talk, too, you're like, yeah, that guy's definitely a robot.
He literally did that. Remember with the Nintendo Direct? It was the, oh, God. He had a name. It was like the Reggie Bot or something.
I think I remember that, yeah.
The Reginator. That was it.
The
Reginator, yeah. He even played into it and became a thing.
Because I think almost a year to the date before that one was the puppet one. I think that was a good one.
You know, as much as I miss E3 and all these weird events we're having, I realize that's the thing I miss most is that all these weird events, all these separate things are not going to include Nintendo in any way. And I want a classic, not even classic because Nintendo Directs are a thing now. I would love a real old time Nintendo press conference, but even a Direct, I could use one of those right now, but no Nintendo this year seems really weird.
Especially in the Wii days.
Yeah, those were the worst.
The Wii music.
Yeah, that one was the best with the drummer. Oh, it was so awesome. You can look at the cringe compilations on those things. And that was surrounded by like some of the craziest E3s, and then you had Nintendos in there.
I'm thinking about the Wii guy right now. the cringe and the Wii days. What did he say again? It was like the Wii's are for babies or something like that. Or the
Oh no, Sleeps for Babies, gamers play all night.
Yeah, Sleeps for Babies. That's a legend.
Yeah, you can look that up on YouTube. It's the Wii Super Fans. Fantastic video. And then, I don't know if you saw, but Jeff Keighley announced another Summer Games Fest for tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, it will already be over, but you can obviously watch on YouTube. And it's all for the DualShock controller, or the DualSense controller.
Oh, wow.
He's going hands-on with it, which seems weird because all it is a controller, and I think it's kind of funny that there's a press conference, essentially a press conference for a controller. But aside from it being funny and making fun of it, because I'm sure it's going to become a meme and jokes and everything, I actually personally think that's really cool because you don't normally see something like that. And I think it's cool that it's not from Sony. They gave it, I'm sure that he has to say certain things to be able to agree to do it and everything, but I think it is cool that they're giving it to somebody else to show it off and not in Sony's hand to control completely everything about it. And he did a quick teaser video of it, and it looks even cooler. I was going to say in person, but it's not really in person, but it's not just like a still screenshot like we've been seeing. And it looks even cooler in the video, so I'm excited to be able to see it tomorrow. And like I said, once this is over, it'll already air, but you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, too, because that's probably everybody knows the Xbox controller is going to be great, and PlayStation's kind of lacked in that department, so
Yeah.
I could sell a lot of people on it.
Then the next thing I had was from Aaron Greenberg of Xbox. He said that he knows everyone's excited for the Xbox Game Showcase next Thursday, and he's seen some of the expectations, and is so if this is helpful, the show has one focus: games. No business devices or similar news, just games. A whole show about hour long focused on games. Okay, so that was a typo. Felt like I was going crazy there. So the reason I brought that up is
Pricing?
yeah, I feel like that's a sign that you're not going to see the pricing release date, and I feel like a lot of people are thinking that. I already again didn't think it was going to happen. I was going to talk to you. I think this is probably the most likely time it would have happened so far, but I still, because I know that that's what you've been waiting for and thinking. But I did think I think they're just trying to play chicken with Sony and holding off. And I feel like if they really do have this much games to show, they're just going to want to try and pile that on, and that will make it force Sony's hand to eventually do something about it if they just keep showing crazy shit.
Yeah, I think you look at the history of game consoles, it's usually who's the cheapest is the winner.
Yeah.
Of a game. Like even, Jesus, man, when you're comparing the Sega to the Nintendo or Neo Geo or, Jesus, so many consoles that came out that were super expensive and they were more powerful, but they lost out because nobody wants to pay that.
Yeah.
Or it's like, why would I pay that when I'm getting the same, similar experiences for quarter of the price, half the price?
Yeah. I'm just so excited for this show. Like the last one that Xbox did was so anticlimactic, and I know it was a different kind of show and it was third party, but still, it was, even with those expectations, it was so underwhelming. And I feel like that's been a common theme in all these press conferences, and why I hope we really have a real E3 next time. Everything just seems so underwhelming, and I hope this is finally different, because this, like I said, this was, I thought, going to be the year of E3 coming back and building it back up, because I felt like the past couple of years have been so slow for obvious reasons, that they were hiding so much because of what was coming, and now we're pretty much here and we're not seeing anything crazy really at all, and somehow seems almost more underwhelming than last time.
I was gonna put the pricing thing in my news because I did see a rumor, but I couldn't find anything to back it up. They're supposed to. Xbox is waiting until August to announce the price.
That makes sense.
It's insane though. I don't think that's ever happened at least in modern times for
Yeah.
games.
Um,
It's kind of weird to think games consoles used to release have soft releases.
yeah.
Like when the NES came out, you could only get it in New York City,
Yeah.
and they slowly spread out over time. So the logistics of it, even reading books and listening to documentaries about the guys trying to keep the logistics behind that, and that was for 5 or 6 stores. Now to think about, every store has these things or wants a piece of them.
Yeah, even going globally, this is the first time ever that PS5 is going to be available at the same time in not every country, but every country it's going to be available in. So even, I know you're talking just in America, which is even more crazy, but I'm saying even going farther than that now. Though we are so much more advanced even now, we still weren't doing it globally until literally this year. So,
And some companies, Nintendo especially, would weaponize
yeah.
if a store did something they didn't like. I definitely strongly recommend people read or listen to Console Wars. It blew my mind at how dirty Nintendo can be. But yeah.
I'm really excited for this press conference, especially being a Halo fan. I just can't wait. I just keep thinking about it. And like I said, I know I said it multiple times, but I don't know how they don't focus on Halo for a good chunk of time that we're this close to it, months away, and we've seen 2 teaser trailers. And they've been making it for, by the time it comes out, more than half a decade. I feel like this thing's about to be crazy. And I mean, I'm going to love the game. I shouldn't say no matter what, but even if it's just as good as Halo 5, which obviously I hope it's different and better, I'm still going to love it just because I don't think there's been a bad Halo game yet, and I can't see 343 just completely dropping the ball. But I really do hope this is something not completely different. I was about to say that, but I don't want it to be completely different, but something brand new in there or something to bring people back that have abandoned Halo, because I feel like that's what they need. They'll have me and all of Halo always love Halo, and I'll still enjoy it, but I feel like they need to bring it back to get all these people that don't care about it and just play Fortnite or just play Call of Duty or all these things.
In the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think Xbox got a real problem on their hands when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
Think about Xbox One. What exclusive game was in the mainstream? I really can't think of one.
Yeah.
Especially thinking ones that wasn't a sequel or a continuation of a series that was also exclusive. That's even smaller list.
Yeah.
When you think about Gears of War, man, Gears of War was everywhere. Everybody's talking about that. Halo was everywhere. Everybody's talking about that. Mass Effect, which is not exclusive anymore.
Yeah. I feel like I hope this every time, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen, but with it being a new generation, I feel like this is the most likely time to finally bring Rare back and do some crazy shit with them, or maybe make a new Conquerors game or do something crazy. And I really hope they do, but I'm worried because I feel like Rare is one of the coolest developers of all time, and I think people go a little too far and say Microsoft ruined them. So I think they've done a lot of cool things. I think the Rare Collection is one of the coolest things they've ever done. The Viva Pinata, I think, is super underrated and a ton of fun. I feel like they do stuff, but I feel like they have taken away so much of their creativity and talent, which is such a bummer because they bought them from Nintendo, and that was one of the biggest acquisitions because that was Nintendo's biggest studio, and then they kind of just let them. I won't say how they treat them because they might treat them completely fine, but seeing how from the outside it seems like they treat them like they're just some no-name developer, which is so crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I forget how often they released games on the SNES compared to Xbox consoles. It's ridiculous. And Sea of Thieves is so original. I had a lot of fun with that.
I know I was missing something. I feel like the one people are talking about the most, if they do come back, is Perfect Dark, which I've always liked Perfect Dark, but I think that'd be the least exciting just because as much as I love first-person shooters, they're so overdone, and I feel like that's with their creativity, they could do so much more than a first-person shooter and do something real crazy, even if it is something they've done before, like a new Conquerors game or something. I feel like could make that current and bring it real crazy. And games are so afraid to be offensive now that I feel like a game like Conquerors would be so fucking funny.
Take like the South Park route.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
And then the only other news I had was, I feel like this has been talked about a lot, but Microsoft put this out themselves. It says, it's our intent for all Xbox One games that do not require Kinect to play on Xbox Series X at the launch of the console, which, like I said, I feel like it's what has been expected and talked about a lot, but this is a quote directly from Microsoft, which is so crazy compared to what we talked about with Sony and how many times we went back and forth and them talking about how it'd be 100, some of the most beloved 100 games at launch, and then they said all of them, and they said they're not sure. And I feel like it does weird that they feel weird that it says they intend to, because I feel like they're kind of giving themselves an out there when it seemed like the whole time they were committed to it. But maybe that's just because, like, licensing or something, if they don't have one game that can't transfer over, everybody won't be like, well, you said all games would be there, so maybe they're just trying to cover themselves for the potential games that can't cross over.
Yeah, because I think they can do whatever they want when it comes to their side of the things, on their end. Colin talks about that a lot, how engineering-wise they're far superior to Sony.
Yeah.
And I think they have the power to make everything play on one box, but it comes down to the legality of it and making sure everybody's getting their cut. And licenses are still good.
I wonder if that means there's not 360 games, 'cause I know that's been talked about pretty often that 360 games would be, but they don't seem to even talk about them there. And even now, 360 games aren't completely playable on it, so I do think it'd be a stretch to think all of them could be.
It'd be nuts.
But yeah. But if they're just abandoning altogether, that'd be kind of a bummer, because it would be kind of cool to have a Xbox that could play all but one generation on it.
Will next week be when we make predictions?
For the
Xbox press conference?
It would actually be on a day. The Xbox press conference would be on a day of the podcast, so we would already watched Xbox by then. So I didn't know you wanted to do predictions. I totally would have done that.
Oh, I just was gonna say real quick in passing. Do you want to do them now? Do you want to wait till a certain part in the show?
Is there any time you could do a special podcast before Thursday?
Maybe, or we could even. Would you want to record it before that we watch Xbox?
Yeah, if you can come over that early, I'm down.
What time?
It starts at 12 for Xbox. Yeah.
Maybe we can plan somewhere we could do a little side thing.
Yeah, just because I do like that, and I've always thought about doing something like that, but I know I'd force and just throw random things out there instead of actually putting some thought into it, and maybe we could have some crazy guesses, but maybe having some things that land, I think would be cool.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
Cool.
Were you going to say anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, so what are your media pickups this week?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, buckle up. So remember when I said I was done buying? It didn't happen because the market shot up ridiculous. And I was like, oh, I got to get in there, get a little bit more before the door closes.
Uh-huh.
So I got Mass Effect 3 on the 360, free from Peter because he accidentally bought it twice. Halo 4 not for resale edition because Peter accidentally bought it twice. Mystery Team, which is like a Blockbuster rental copy version of Childish Gambino movie with Audrey Plaza. It's probably, I don't know, 15 years old, 12 years old. That's free from Peter. Infamous.
There we go.
PS3. I've been wanting that for a while, and I found it at Goodwill.
Have you played that? I can't remember. Oh, it's so good. I think some mechanics will seem dated now, but I think overall it's to be a fun game.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to one day get a PS3 and be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
Then I got Condemned 1 and 2 at Goodwill for the 360. I thought I already had this, but I told Peter, that we could exchange it because I told him it's a great game. It's Stuntman Ignition. I think it was an Xbox Live free game. It's so weird to say Xbox Live now. Like, it didn't feel right. Then I got Assassin's Creed Rogue Limited Edition. That was a 360 exclusive when the Xbox One came out, which I thought was weird, but I never picked it up. So I decided to pick it up. And then I picked up a PSP 1001 at a Goodwill. It came with Madden 11, Madden 09, NCAA Football 09, Mod Nation Racers, Call of Duty, which is weird to think about. Madden 11 was on the PSP. Then I looked it up. What year do you think was the last PSP game?
Ever created? Just any PSP game?
The last one.
2016.
Good job.
Oh, is that what it is?
Right on the money.
I know they did it way later, like Japanese companies were still releasing and stuff.
Yeah, it was actually the, oh gosh, I forget the name of that game company, but they have one game that they've released on like every console. I still need a charger.
What do you think about Bethesda? With Skyrim?
No,
I know.
that'd
They
be
just-
fucking hilarious.
Do you see there's already rumors about them remastering to PS5? I thought it was clickbait, but it's real.
It wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. Oh, then it also came with NBA 2K11. This is some of the most normie games ever. Call of Duty and sports titles. I needed a charger for it, but I also need a charger for the Vita that we bought last week. And I purchased it from that guy on eBay, and he's over at Lewis Center, and I was like, I'll have this in a day or two. He still hasn't sent it out, man. I'm still sitting there waiting for it. It's getting kind of ridiculous.
So, I got two things to say. First off, how much was all the PSP stuff?
PSP 1001 was $30.
With all those games now?
Yeah.
That's not bad. And also, I don't know if you played Mod Nation Racers. I don't know about the PSP version. But the PS3 version, did I just repeat myself or am I losing my damn mind? Did I say PSP and then PS3?
Yeah,
okay.
you did.
The PS3 version, I think is actually probably the best kart racer besides Mario Kart.
Wow.
It was so cool, and even though I don't think it's as good as Mario Kart, there's definitely things it does way better. The customization, it's like Little Big Planet. I don't know if you remember that. Sony for a little bit was doing a whole series of create, play, and share games. And that was the one that came after Little Big Planet.
Wow.
And it was a kart racer with real good mechanics, but like the customization and building of Little Big Planet, so your character could be almost anything. And then same with the worlds people created, like Mario Worlds or like Sonic World, like all the things people do with
Holy
creative,
shit.
and characters would look just like them, or you could do just different skins and all kinds of stuff. I feel like it didn't get enough attention because, well, for one, it's not Mario, so it's not going to get as much attention. And then also, that was a time period where PS3 was way overpriced and struggling a lot still. And also, they were struggling so much that they were releasing so many big games that it just got buried and not going to get any attention with games like Resistance and all these other games coming out that are way bigger than it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, that's probably the big highlight out of that set that I wanted to try, because I messed a little bit on the Vita with Mod Nation Racers. But that's maybe one or two.
It was on Vita as well.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm not sure about the Portal version. I only played PS3, but I'd imagine they ported over at least decently.
And then I went to go spend my $5 coupon at GameStop. I got what? SSX. I'm so tired. Blur. It's
a blur.
Yeah. on the Wii, it's a Wii exclusive. I always liked that game series.
Yeah.
And then Dungeon Siege 3, which was my free game.
The Dunge.
So I got both of those for $2 at GameStop, which is weird to say. And then we went to Dollar Tree, and they had Assassin's Creed Lineage, that little short
Yeah.
they did on Blu-ray. So I picked that up for $1.
There you go.
And then we'll do probably half-price books after that. This was a PSP game I wanted for a while. I think it's pronounced Gian Diarc. Drone Diarc, I don't know. Some guy posted on a Facebook group about it. I was like, man, that looks good as shit. So I picked that up, and then I found Pikmin on the GameCube. That's one of the games that's shooting up in value right now. So I figured I might as well grab that real quick. And this other game called Dai Senraku, some shit like that. It's a Japanese RTS that they ported to the original Xbox. Then I went to, man, I knew there was gonna be some crazy shit coming out of this, but I went to a pawn shop, a bunch of pawn shops looking for this stuff. Sure as shit, they knew all the video game stuff was going through the roof. This pawn shop, they had prices on everything, but then they're like, well, we can't trust any of these. We have to look up everything. So that was a little heartbreaking because gaming's going through the roof right now. But they had a massive Dreamcast lot, and there's a game there I've been looking for called Zombie Revenge. It's also the most generic name in the world.
Don't say that.
But it's like a $50 game, but this copy was wrecked. It was complete, but it was destroyed. Even like the staples in the manual was rusted. And so I was like, bro, I can't. What do you want for this? And he's like, He looked at the loose price and was like $25. Bro, you're coming out too high. This thing doesn't even look like it would play. So we're going back and forth for a while, and I whittled him down to $4. Then took it to play it, trade it, and they resurfaced it for me for $5. So it was like $9.
Yeah.
It was also disgusting too because the pawn shop was doubling all of their console prices. You go into a pawn shop right now, Casey. You go, hey, you guys have video games? Man, we're sold out of every console, except for Lev's because they went back and we're like, oh shit, they're pretty on it and raised prices with the coronaflation. But yeah, so coronaflation can suck a dick.
Is this a turn that's happening, or you just said
I just made that up.
Okay.
Because it's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Shit is done. You go to price charting, they have graphs. In 6 months, shit is doubled for no reason at all. Except you motherfuckers just sitting at home, sitting on eBay, clicking and buying stuff.
Before we keep going, we're not cut off over here, are we? So make sure that
we're still going. We're still going through it. And then I finally found Dead Space Extraction for the Wii.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find a good copy of that for some reason. It's usually destroyed. Also, pawn shops in Columbus are weird. You go to them. Have you ever been to them?
Only a couple of times, actually.
Bro, they are always so weird. The owners walk around with guns on their hips.
Yeah.
Everything's, you press a beep, and they buzz you into the building. And then every door is like, you have to, hey, can you buzz me out? And it's like a 2-step process to get in and out. And everybody's armed to the teeth. Every clerk has a gun on their hip. The one where the guy was like raising his prices while you were asking about them, he had like the holster with the 2 pistols, one here and one here, and like magazines on the side. He had a thick Russian accent. I've never felt safer in my life because he didn't take shit off nobody. These guys kept pressing the buzzer to get in. He's like, 2 people, time, that's it. And they didn't hear him. What, man? He just stared at him like this. I never felt safer in my life. I actually preferred that. I was like, oh, this is great. Because they're in pawn shops in Columbus are in the worst areas.
Yeah, that's why I've only been a couple of times. Not just the worst areas, just because it all seems so weird and not very pleasant.
No, there's cameras everywhere, and they're watching you like, oh, what is he doing? But I feel incredibly safe because everyone's just armed, and I'd prefer that. But yeah, so I went to a pawn shop, Dead Space Extraction. This guy also had a massive pistol on the side of his hip. Picked it up for $5. That's another game that's shooting up or going up in value. Then Fracture, which is from one of the last LucasArts games. I really liked it.
Yeah, we talked about it on here before.
Yeah, so I was like, I sold my original, so I was like, I'm gonna pick that up again. Singularity, just because I have a feeling that's gonna be another rare game in the future. I think I already have a copy of it, but I told Peter if I have any doubles, the stuff I picked up, I was like, these are good games, and you'll like them. That's all my pickups.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. Oh Jesus, I forgot to play it, trade it. So I went to play it, trade it, and scoured their Xbox stuff because I'm afraid that original Xbox is the next thing to go up. So I got Naughty Bear Gold Edition. I think you talked me into that.
Yeah, I haven't played myself yet again, but I need to.
Yeah, you talked me into that. And he also had it's the Gold Edition, so it has the original game and all DLCs.
Yeah.
And he priced it for regular Naughty Bear, the same. So, but it's like it's worth like twice the amount or three times the amount. So I picked that up. Then Fatal Frame 2, which is an incredibly rare original Xbox game. Two games that I owned but I sold to buy my PS4 is Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick, Evil Dead Regeneration. They're rarer games, and unfortunately I sold them to buy my PS4. Biggest mistake. I sold so much retro games to buy that thing, and now those games are worth way more than the PS4. I picked up this weird game I never heard of. It's called War Tech. It's a very Asian, like a Japanese style game. It's like a shmup. Freedom Fighters. I loved that as a kid. Did you ever play that?
Freedom Fighter. Isn't that the name of the game that we all got on Vita?
No, that's Freedom Wars.
Sorry, Freedom Wars. No, I haven't played Freedom Fighters.
Oh, it was good. It was like you're
not by name, I don't think so.
You're like a resistance group and you're being invaded or some shit. Terminator 3, The Redemption, kind of another sought-after rare game. Pulse Racer, and Blood Omen 2, Legacy of Kain, and Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. And that's everything. I think my total for that was, Jesus, like 160 for all that. Oh, so I had this stack of games at Play It, Trade It. I was like, can you, like, I talked to the owners, like, man, if I'm buying a big stack, you discount this a little bit? And he's like, man, with the way pricing's going, you're getting a really good deal already, because he hadn't updated his prices because he's not a fucking pawn shop that just wants to have a price on the item, and you go, I'll take this. And they go, well, that's actually not the price. But so I was like, what can you do for me? And I had a DVD. I found a really rare DVD I've been looking for a while. It was CKY 1 through 3. I love those things. But for some reason, they're out of print. And because of licensings and some lawsuits, they can't remake them exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a $40 DVD, $40. And he gave it to me for free. So I was like, that works.
Not bad.
So I started watching those today. God damn it, they're so good. God, I would suck a mean dick to get back to being a kid. I'm telling you, man. I would do, you couldn't reverse that. But that'd be super illegal. But oh man, buying original Xbox stuff and CKY stuff, it felt so 2003 or some shit. Very nostalgic.
I think that's part of why I'm so excited for Halo and why I want other people to come back in, not just want it to be for me. Obviously, I think it's going to be quality. I'm excited for the game, and I want to do all that. But I think also want to be reminded of a time where you got an Xbox and, oh, my God, everybody's excited for Halo. Everybody's on Halo. Like, now you get on, and there's a handful of people playing Fortnite or Call of Duty, but everything's kind of divided, and nobody's – like, you knew as soon as the Halo game launched that the next day at 2 o'clock you get on, and everybody would be on Halo.
Whole friends list.
Yeah, it was so great.
Yep. And then you could tell whose parents went and bought it for them because they're playing the older Halo.
Yeah.
Wishing it was the new Halo. I haven't thought about that. That's
really?
so true.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I would remember, like, the night before, I was like, oh, man, tomorrow's going to be a Halo day. And then you get on there and just see everybody's games changing to Halo. And then you see the people that most people weren't ordering stuff online then. So you see people that got theirs late because online wasn't always consistent like it is for the most part now. So you'd see people that you go, wait, why aren't you playing Halo? And, I'm still waiting for it. It's supposed to be here. It was just those are like the only people that weren't on Halo, or the people that were waiting for Halo.
Yeah.
And he talked about CKY. I was actually talking to somebody recently. We need to watch all the Jackass movies because I feel like our friend group hasn't done that. And I also want to see some reactions because I feel like some people are not going to be able to handle it. And I want to see when people leave the room and what they
I'll
can't
fucking
do.
body slam them.
Not
Because
even,
that's like that collection of stuff is very personal for me. And if someone pulls that PC shit with Jackass,
well, I think there'll definitely be people who do that. But I think, I don't, not talking about PC things. I mean like the diarrhea and that kind of stuff.
oh,
I think,
okay.
yeah, like the people that just can't handle shit like that.
I thought you were
That's
some
some of the funniest.
SJW shit.
Well, that definitely I think is a possibility. But yeah, I meant more so the stuff that I think is some of the funniest stuff. I can definitely see why other people can't handle it.
Which one is it? Jackass 3 where it starts out?
The volcano.
Yeah. Oh, those movies are so good, man. I tell you what's really nostalgic too is with that CKY DVD is a brochure of everything that Ben and Jared had for sale. I forgot about was it Haggerty?
Yeah.
What a pile of shit that was. Yeah, man, I would definitely be down for that.
Okay. My media pickups are pretty similar this week. I bought a sound bar for my TV upstairs.
That's it? Oh my god. This honestly has to be it though.
Oh, I don't care that yours went forever. I just thought it was funny that I don't even have a game and there's just one piece of equipment.
No, I just have to be like I gotta stop buying shit because it's getting ridiculous. It's called the current backloggers. I'm supposed to be going through my backlog, not adding to it. But I got scared, man. I was like, I gotta get in there and get something before the store closes.
But I was excited to get the sound bar. I already have a really good sound bar down here that I play with my games, but upstairs where we watch most stuff when people come over or do our lost nights like we did tonight, the TV can just not keep up with all of us talking and everything, and also quality of the sound bar is just so much better even if we could hear it. And you get the subwoofer with it, so you get some bass in there. So
it's amazing how good those are.
Yeah, that thing was only $90 too, and it was refurbished and came with everything you needed. All the cables were there and everything.
What I like about them too is other surround systems, they give you those little ones they want you to position around.
Oh yeah.
Who's got time for that?
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're actually doing like a true home theater, I think that's just kind of overkill and unnecessary, and also annoying to have all those things around.
Yep.
So what have you been playing this week?
I actually been going through the backlog consistently. Just adding way too many games at the same time. Let me get up here. Are we doing watched or played?
Played.
Gears Judgment. I beat it.
There you go.
Beat it in about 2 days.
Yeah.
It's a pretty abrupt ending. Kind of killed the last bad guy, and then there's.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
There's no even like a little like what happened after, nothing. There was so much more I felt like I could have done with that game, with the Pendulum Wars and everything going on. I just felt very rushed. It's like a 4-hour campaign, totally fine. But then they added Gears 3 DLC as well, in with that.
Was that the multiplayer?
No, it's like a continuation of the.
Oh yeah, I remember playing that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back and play that, but I had to delete it because I was installing Halo 5, and my hard drive. What the fuck? If you wanted Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, and Call of Duty, that's like 400 gigabytes. It's impossible. So I had to delete Gears Judgment to make room for Halo 5 because I also played and beat Halo 4.
I saw you were playing Halo 4. That wasn't even on like the Master Chief Collection, was it? Just the regular Halo 4?
Yeah, just the regular one.
Why were you playing 4? Didn't you say you want to go through all of them, or is that just the first one you hadn't beaten before?
I've actually beaten all of them.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did them all. I finished off with you with Reach.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So besides Spartan's Assault, those are the only ones I haven't played. So Halo 4, I beat it. I had some issues with it though, man. Did you? One of the things that threw me off, and it shouldn't have thrown me off, was they changed the voices of the grunts, just slightly. Did you notice that?
I didn't, but I know it used to be one of the voice actors or writers at Bungie was originally the voice, so maybe they weren't allowed to use it.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It sounded different. Also, Master Chief, this is not really spoilers, happens at the beginning, has been locked up for 4 years, whatever. And how did his armor? I felt like his armor looked different from Halo 3.
I'm sure it did. I feel like that stuff does happen. I don't know. I care about the story a lot, but at the same time, I don't have a huge issue if they do want to try and make it look different just to keep up with current times or things like that should matter in the story, but I don't feel like they truly do.
I love the way the weapons felt, though. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like it was actually doing something.
And that
Very
intro
cool.
was so great, breaking out of the chamber and going in, and like that first-person view with the elite that's hanging over the edge and tries to kick you off. Is that 4 or 5?
Must be 5.
Okay.
Yep, I'll figure that out soon because I just downloaded 5. That took me all day, by the way. 9 hours to download that for some reason.
You said you beaten 5 as well, because we didn't do that one.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was something you were missing.
Yeah, so 5's next, and then I want to do Halo Wars.
Okay.
So the plan's to hopefully have that done before the press conference.
You never beaten Halo 5 in general, though?
Nope.
Okay, that's what I was mixed up with.
Nope. Yeah, I love the feeling of the weapons. The story's really good. I enjoyed it, except for where they kind of lost me was when, spoilers, so you might want to skip ahead if you haven't played Halo 4, when he talks to the Forerunner lady, and she's telling him about how the Prometheans are actually humans. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I felt like someone had to watch like 2 or 3 times to fully understand what the hell she was saying. And then there's the mission with the broadsword, the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
The Dodge. Oh, that was amazing, and it just gets me excited for the new Star Wars game. I could go for a ship sim. I could have played a whole Halo campaign with that broadsword. The dodging and shooting shit. There was some corny dialogue in that, so sometimes like, what the hell? Why are we talking like this? But I did find out the lead writer, Christopher Schleifler. He also wrote Andromeda, and that's really the only 2 things that he's done besides some Halo books. I feel bad for that guy. He's got some bad blood, and I don't think he's really done much since then. I didn't see. The bad guy's really cool, the Forerunner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's really awesome. Kind of reminds me of Thanos.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
One of the Thanos' generals. Especially the way he like makes people disappear and shit. That scene's so awesome when he hits that, spoilers, hits those lab technicians. I forget the lady's name. And every layer just goes.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful stuff, man.
I think the Didact's a great name, too.
Yeah. That's a sick name. But then the ending was very Call of Duty-esque. Spoilers. The bad guy like falls off the cliff, and then you crawl.
Yeah.
You're crawling, quick time events. But I feel like a lot of games were like that during that time. But I enjoyed it, man. It was a lot of fun.
I'm really excited to see what you think of the intro of 5, because I think it's so fucking cool. And
Really?
I mean, I kind of spoiled it, but I don't think by the time you play it, I don't think you'll remember it. Or I think it's so much cooler when you see it happening. And it's weird. I feel like this is kind of an example of what I was talking about with Infinite. It doesn't really feel like Halo, but it doesn't at the same time. It doesn't feel like they abandoned it. It kind of feels like Evolve, like in Halo Evolved, which is a terrible pun because Combat Evolved. But it does kind of seem like a natural progression of it, and it just seems so cool.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get into it. And then I played Dragon Quest 1. I'm right at the end of it. I've been kind of holding off because I don't want it to end. And granted, I've been playing this game on and off for like a year. Just anytime I have free time, I'll just I'll just pick it up and play it. Just the grinding aspect. I never really thought I would enjoy grinding in games. But Colin enjoys that in games. So I was like, oh, there's maybe something to it. Maybe I'm playing the wrong grindy games. I think that was right. I'm really enjoying that. You throw on a TV show and just go around with your guy. Level up. It's very, very rewarding. Still, my biggest issue with it, man, is the old English. It's so stupid. And they're supposed to give you like little hints if you can decipher what the hell they're saying in old English. And I don't know how the hell anybody would beat this without a guide. Like the code, it's like they're using a different language or a code or something. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. I would have played Halo 5 today, but for some reason, 100 gigabytes for that one game.
You said you still need to beat Halo Wars as well. Have you played the first one?
Yeah, Halo Wars 2, sorry.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I was going to say I was supposed to be our next game, so I didn't know if you need to play the first one first.
Sorry, I should probably explain it a little bit. I wanted to go back and play Halo 4 and 5 before Halo Wars 2, so that's why I beat Halo 4 in one day. I was like, I got to get through these, so I can keep up with the podcast, but also feel like I'm not missing out on anything story-wise.
No, I like that, and not that everybody's on my friends list, but I had to do a double take when I saw you on Halo 4, and it kind of reminded me of that. So, like, guys, on Halo. Yeah. This is great.
It's on Master Chief Collection, though?
Yeah, that's why I was going to ask you why you played 4, because like that version of it says how you want to play on Master Chief Collection, gets the new achievements and everything.
I didn't know that. I was like, it's not on Game Pass. I was like, thank God Peter just picked it up for me.
That's probably the reason, because not everything first party went back like retroactively, so not everything in Microsoft's history is on there, and they probably left that one off on purpose because Master Chief Collection, since it's in there, they probably took 4 off for that reason.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's part of the collection.
Motherfucker Jones.
Yeah, Reach and ODST were added, like additional payments or free depending on when you got it, but 1 through 4 were all on there.
And those are such short campaigns and really, really high playability. So I definitely play it again.
Yeah, that's I don't like doing things over, and that's one of my least favorite things about games. But Halo, that's why I say anybody that wants to play on co-op, I can do it. It's just so much fun.
And the lore is amazing. You feel like you pick up something new each time.
Yeah, definitely. And that's even more reason if you haven't played on a collection, because you'll get more achievements and all these new things you don't have.
Yeah. And I'm not degrading or downgrading.
Yeah. So I haven't played Halo Wars 2 aside from the first time so I haven't played any more of it yet. But I didn't, because I just decided to play more Sunset Overdrive. And I know, like I said, if I don't do that now, I'm going to abandon it. So I'm trying to do some more before I move on to Halo Wars 2. So I played some more of that, got some more achievements in it, and did a good amount more of the side missions. Still haven't finished everything, but...
Did you do the comic book ones?
I don't think I've done it.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are good ones.
I remember you saying that, but either I did it and I didn't realize it, or I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you'll know. It's a real nerdy-ass guy giving you missions. It's good.
Okay.
Reminds me of collecting retro video games, what it reminds me of.
But I'm still having a lot of fun with that. I don't think I'll ever go and get all the collectibles and everything, but I want to at least try and get as many achievements as I can and finish all the side missions. And then I think there's DLC. I don't know if that's included in our Game Pass, but I have to buy it or how that works. But
is it really?
Yeah, I think so, because the achievements are like 1,070 or 700 or something, like 1,700, I think. So usually they only go that high if they have DLC, so I'm thinking there is, but maybe it was just added challenges or something with free achievements. So I played some more of that. I played a little bit more Nickelodeon kart racing. Still the same on that. I played and streamed some Madden, and you were there for my unfortunate last game. All 3 of those games are on our channel, and you can watch it if you want, but the last one, I don't suggest watching it. It was quite sad. So I got knocked out of the playoffs the game before the Super Bowl.
Damn.
And Derek was already in the Super Bowl as a Panther, so it was lining up to be 2 humans against each other, and so excited, and I lost to the LA Chargers, which was beyond embarrassing. So like I said, it kind of makes it feel like a real season because I'm like, damn it, now I gotta do all the off-season work and get a good enough record to get into the playoffs and then stick in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. So it really does feel like your whole starting your whole season over. Because usually in Madden you just lose a game, or shit, I'll just do another one. But this kind of changes the whole aspect of it to make it feel like more like a real season or real franchise.
So did Derek win the whole thing?
I'm sure he's gonna, but he hasn't yet because they do this weird thing where they play the Pro Bowl for some reason, like they would in real life. And me and Aaron are the coaches in it. So me and him are gonna play the Pro Bowl game just for the fun of it, and I'll probably stream that because that sounds real dumb. So I don't even know. I know I wouldn't naturally do that, but he wanted to play it, and Derek said he wanted to see it. So I thought it'd be an excuse to be able to play another game and probably be more depressed.
Man, that's just a sign how good Derek was. Because last year told me he was like,
Wasn't barely made it into the playoffs.
Derek,
Yeah.
he was in our franchise last season. I think you might be thinking of Trevor.
No, this season though. Didn't you see he almost missed the playoffs because
Oh
he
yeah,
joined late?
yeah, because his team was like 3-7, and a team in 3-7 in real life is never going to make it to the playoffs. So yeah, he turned it around. Or I think they were 3-6. I think he finished like 10-6. So yeah, it was fucking stupid.
You know the Browns missed the playoff one year with that exact record?
Yeah. Then I also played some Halo. I was playing some MCC, and him probably start streaming that or some of these different games I play. It's not just going to be Madden, but I feel like Madden's an easy game to stream and then also keep on our channel because it's just a single game, so it's kind of like you can watch like you would any YouTube video. I feel like Halo a lot of times it kind of just bounce in and out of multiplayer. I feel like it'd be weird to have a YouTube video of that unless there's like something funny that happens or we have a reason to do it. So that kind of stuff I might just stream and then not actually upload to the channel. But I do want to stream like that, and I want to get more used to it. So like we talked about doing what do you call it? Why did I just blank on this? The thing I talked about, the streaming thing with you.
Oh,
Extra Life.
Extra Life, yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely don't think I have streaming down. I don't think I'm an expert or anything, but I feel like I have the basics of it down. So it's exciting thing about the potential of doing that and the dumb ideas we could do, or like the cool ideas, or like running through all the Halos or whatever we want to do. And then the only other things I played, I haven't played a whole lot this week, was some Mario Kart and Mario Party when some people were over. So not a lot for me this week, but I'm going to try and change that this week with maybe streaming some more and then probably getting some more Sunset Overdrive in and not starting Halo Wars 2, but continuing Halo Wars 2. Because like you, I think I've been good about it for the most part, but I like to get more of my backlog done. I would like to play more of these games that I just like to jump in and out of, but I want a mixture of that to be able to still get games done.
You know, I think since starting this podcast, I probably have added 125 games to my backlog.
That's fucking bonkers. Because I couldn't count, but aside from like the free games and some downloadable games I bought, I probably have like 10, 15 games.
I mean, at some point you gotta realize you gotta figure out the definition of your backlog. I'm a collector with the thought process eventually I'll play this.
Yeah.
But there's something about just getting a new game and putting it in a bag and taking it home, and your girlfriend going, what the fuck, how many more of these can you bring in this house? You have to stop. I think since our basement flooded, like, it was all in a spare bedroom, and the spare bedroom's like filling up now.
Now it's flooding with games, am I right? What have you been watching this week?
This week I watched the Stadia event yesterday.
It was part of oh my gosh, Video Game Awards.
Oh, Jeff Keighley?
Yeah, Jeff Keighley's
I
thing.
didn't see that one, so I didn't watch it. So
They announced like Stadia Pro, which is basically like their version of Game Pass. This should have been something that they had at launch.
Just more games that once again are out on other platforms. At first, they weren't announcing any exclusives, and I'm like, why would anybody want this? Unless they bought it off eBay for $30. That's what I did. Oh God, my ass is starting to hurt. We've been sitting here for so long.
Yeah, I thought we talked about this would be a short episode. I guess not.
Nope. um, uh, then they mentioned exclusive features for games. It's not even exclusive. I don't even. They were trying to explain what the purpose of that was, but then they grabbed me at the end, man. I spent a lot of times with Orcs Must Die in high school, and they announced the third one coming out, and it's going to be exclusive on Stadia. Then they basically said there's 5 exclusives coming to Stadia. Another one called Outsiders. It looks like a very you game. You should check it out.
I think that's one of the games I talked about on
Outcasters, sorry.
Oh, that's not it. Then.
Outcasters. Orcs Must Die 3 just came out, which is insane that they just announced it and it came out. I think it's supposed to be really buzzworthy, but I didn't really see much people talking about it. And then the other 3 exclusives have not been announced yet, but they are being developed by Harmonix, Supermassive Games, and Uppercut Games, known for Rock Band, Until Dawn, and Submerged. So those are really this. I'm impressed. I thought Google would have thrown in the fucking flag by now, but they're sticking with it, and I'm sure they're not getting much funding, but they're doing a lot with what they're funding. Orcs Must Die 3 news was enough for me to be like, shit, I need to turn this on, because I think it's part of their pass. And
they also bought Supermassive. I don't know if you saw that, the whole studio.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Maybe they announced it there, because I was like, where the hell did this come from? And I didn't know that event was happening.
Yeah, it was so short, dude. I think that's why they barely talked about it. It was like a 20-minute thing.
I wonder what Harmonix is going to do, because they've done almost nothing except rhythm games. But I can't imagine there's going to be a new rhythm game.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that just uses controllers.
Do you know what I found out, though?
What's that?
Coronaflation. New term, by the way. All the teens can use it.
Please don't.
Play it, trade it. He said all of the Rock Band and Guitar Hero shit on every console is just flying off the shelves. He said he was selling PS3 and Xbox 360 guitars for
120 people are still buying them. Flying off the shelves, he said.
Yeah, it's gross.
And I bought the Xbox One Guitar Hero at a yard sale for $5. I was like, what's that going for? And he's like, was it the full set?
I was like, no, just the guitar boxed with the game, or, like you would buy at the store, just the guitar. And he's thinking he thinks maybe 200, but he said if you have the full boxed, he has a full boxed one in the back that he's kind of hanging on to see how crazy it gets with all the instruments, and it's like $600. So there's a demand for rhythm games right now. All these normies stuck at home, these plebs. In the rhythm games.
I wonder how much of that is the people are stuck in home and just want nostalgia of things they like, or if that's actually going to stick around, because like the Guitar Hero one that came out on Xbox One and PS4 not that long ago, I think it was well made and it was a bomb. So that's why I don't know if they'll do a rhythm game again, especially on Stadia, because then do you have to buy all new equipment to be able to play it with that, or... That's what I'm saying. If it's any kind of rhythm game, I feel like it'd have to be controller based. And then at that point, I don't know what that even really be.
And I really don't think they could be going for that much on eBay. So are these people just coming in the store being like, I want this, and paying whatever he's asking? Or what?
Yeah.
It's bonkers, man. Vita stuff's going a little high right now, too. But yeah.
That's it?
That's all I got.
I don't have a whole lot this week either.
Oh, no. I did watch another movie, man.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it was bad. It's called Control-Alt-Delete from 2008. You ever heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I can't remember.
It's got Tyler Labine from Dale and Tucker vs. Evil and The Reaper, that CW show, which is why I got it. It's actually directed and I think written by his brother. The DVD's kind of rare. I got mine from Goodwill. Yes, it's about Y2K and him fucking computers, like actually putting his dick inside of them.
Maybe I didn't hear about this. Maybe I just know it from the computer saying.
It's like Clerks mixed with Grandma's Boy. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's really well done, but then you're like, he's drilling holes in computers and putting his dick inside them and fucking them. But yeah, I watched that movie. That's part of my backlog. I had no idea this stuff was going on either, and I was watching it at work on a portable DVD player, and there's scenes where they're like talking about the early days of porn on computers, and it's real graphic, just full blown porn on there. And I was like, oh my god, I had to turn it off and gotta save this. I thought it was just about a comedy about this computers, but no, it was about porn and fucking computers and weird one.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I haven't watched a whole lot this week either, but me and Danielle did start the pizza show, which you told me about, the YouTube channel.
The pizza
or
expert.
YouTube series. Yeah. I don't know. There's some. Well, first off, I love it, and I'm gonna watch every episode. And every time we're not watching, I'm like, oh man, we could watch another episode of Pizza.
Really, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. And there's nothing that guy did that no reason to dislike him. I just think everybody else seems so likable and charming. And like I said, he didn't do anything douchey. I feel like he just kind of has that scummy look, and he's from New York, and he doesn't do anything that's over the top nice. So he kind of just has a weird vibe to me for some reason. But like I said, I don't really know if that's fair because he didn't do anything at all. But the show itself I love, and makes me want pizza every time I see it. So that's the downside of it. Unless I can get pizza, then it's the ultimate, having pizza while you're watching pizza. But it's fantastic. I think I've watched 3 episodes. We watched up to, or we watched the Chicago episode was the last one we watched, I think. But
That's pretty good.
yeah.
I think it's where he keeps making digs into like lasagna and stuff like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Which is fair. That's I actually made fun of it when at the end of the episode they always do like next on this episode, and he's like, then we go to the pizza place in Chicago, and I was like, that is not pizza. And then they literally start the episode with that, and then there's even people in Chicago hating on it. They're like, this is deep dish is not Chicago pizza. That's what people like to say, because I told Danielle, she's like, no, it's great. And I was like, yeah, some of the pizza is, but not deep dish. And a lot of them were saying how that's not Chicago pizza. No, this is great. I didn't, because I expected the complete opposite of that. I thought it would just be all deep dish and everybody obsessing over it. So I was actually shocked that anybody else even thought a little bit like me about Chicago pizza. And then I watched a show, only 1 episode so far. I don't know if I can do any more, called Dark on Netflix. Have you heard of it?
No. Is it like tourism? Where it's like that might be called dark tourism though.
I was gonna say it's this seems kind of like a murder mystery, like suspense show. It's a Russian show that they brought to Netflix here, but somebody at work recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, how I told you this before, how I don't do subtitles because I pay way too much attention to subtitles or a video, and then there's no point in paying attention at all. And he's like, no, they dubbed it, which is usually terrible, but this one, they actually did such a good job with it that you won't even notice it. And the show does seem super interesting, right in my alley. It seems super creepy, but also not like in a generic, stupid way, but kind of like how I talk about like Lost and that kind of stuff, where it's like making you think about stuff, and the vibe is so weird that this is more terrifying than any like monster could jump out. And I think it, aside from the dubbing, I think you would be all over it too. It kind of has like a Stephen King vibe to it, but I do think the dubbing is impressive, because I never really thought about till I watched this how fucking frustrating that must be to try and dub somebody's voice and to make the emotion and everything come out. I feel like it's kind of like acting in a video game, but even harder. But even though I think they did impressive with it, I still think, like I said, I can't imagine how hard that is. So there is a noticeable difference in what's happening and what they're saying, and I just can't. My attention can't come off of it, and it's like I said, a suspense and like a mystery. I think maybe dubbing wouldn't be as noticeable in like a crazy action movie because not so focused on their face and like the emotions that they're trying to show. But a show like this where it's all about emotion, I just can't do it. They're just trying to get so serious, and then you can see that they stop talking and their lips are still moving, or vice versa. And it's just, that's all my attention is drawn towards. And he's like, yeah, that's how I was, but watch 3 episodes and you won't think about it anymore. I was like, I don't know. Because like I said, this show seems right up my alley and so interesting, and that's all I can think about, and it's distracting me from these things that seem so interesting. So I might watch more because it does seem so interesting, but at the same time, I don't know if I can ever look past and be used to that. I don't know. I was gonna say you should watch, but I don't know if that'd be your kind of thing either.
Yeah, man, I'm always down to start something like that.
I think
sorry, go ahead.
I think as far as quality of the show, I do think it lines up perfectly with what you'd like, but I just don't know if the dubbing would bother you as well.
My last semester OSU, I did Russian films. I was taught by a Russian teacher, and all the films were exactly how you described. And I still enjoyed a lot of them.
They do have the option, I even tried it, to just do in a native voice, so they speak Russian and do the subtitles in English, but I couldn't do it because the lips do line up perfect, because that's how they recorded it, but I can't do the subtitles.
I could see that.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I watched, we probably should have started the show with it, but we watched Devolver Digital and what else? Ubisoft Forward. You want to talk about those 2 conferences quick?
Yeah.
All right. I put things as they went, so I guess we could talk about it that way if you want.
Yeah.
The Devolver started with Shadow Warrior 3, which was like a FPS, over-the-top, bloody, looks fantastic game that I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even know if I've heard the first 2. That name's so generic that I feel like I've heard that name 1,000
Really?
times. Yeah.
They're pretty big on, I think, PC.
No, maybe that's the reason, because it looked fucking awesome. But, yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually heard that game.
So my friend Andrew really likes them. They're pretty crazy, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah. I feel like the crazy thing about both these is there's like 5 games talked about in each conference, which I think speaks to how underwhelming these are that there's such few games. I think theirs was intentional because they even play into it later, which we can kind of go over the whole conference after the games if you want.
Yeah.
Then next they talked about Fall Guys, which was already been announced, but it's a game I told you about. I think you and a couple other people are mocking about another VR, which I agree that there's way too many battle royales. I said VR naturally because I typed that just shortened. But every time somebody said VR, I think battle rifle because I'm so used to Halo that what the fuck? And I always have to process what they're talking about. But I don't mind battle royale, especially if they're doing their own thing with it. And this game looks so unique. They are using battle royale format. But this is a game I talked about a few weeks ago on one of the conferences. They showed it, and I actually was excited for it because it kind of me and you talked about it. Looks like I'm blanking on it again. And we talked about it was like Hole in the Wall, or like that show was on Spike TV. Where it was like obstacle course and running and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this is, but a battle royale of that sounds so fun, and just everybody getting knocked off and then continuing on and see who's the last one. I think it's obviously still battle royale, but I feel like that changes completely. That's kind of just like a different mode in a shooter or something. I do think one of the issues it has, it's going to release on PS4 and Steam on August 4th, and it's $20, which, if it's fun, I don't think it's overpriced or anything. But I think it already may have an issue in the fact that I don't know how into it majority of people are going to be, and battle royales rely real heavily on a huge audience, especially when there's a barrier to entry since it's not free to play like a lot of battle royales. So I wonder if that game's going to even be really playable after it comes out, or how much longer it'll be playable after it comes out, unless they change it to free to play.
Yeah.
Because that would suck that if the game is fun and all the mechanics are cool and then nobody's there to play it anyways.
Yeah. I could see that happening though, free to play.
Yeah. And then, what did they announce next? I missed something here. It started with a C, but I didn't put all of it because I'm terrible at my notes. Let's see.
Don't remember. Let me look it up real quick. Devolver.
I think I got all the other ones, but
Carry on.
yeah, that's it. I was trying to look up myself too. That
That's-
was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that one they've talked about before though. I've recognized it. I think they announced it last year.
What was it? Like,
Carry on.
what style of game?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like the spaghetti meat.
Oh yeah. That looked cool. I don't know if I would ever actually play that game though. I don't know if it's my kind of game, but it does seem cool. Yeah, they announced that for September 23rd for Xbox One and PC, and then you also noticed they announced it for Game Pass, so we'll get it free anyways.
Yeah.
So me, I'll play it that way, but even then, there's so many games that I say that, but it's not completely my game, I don't think. So I don't know if I'll even play even with it being free.
Kind of reminds me of the John Carpenter movie with Kurt Russell.
The Thing.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Bouncing around,
Fantastic
controlling
movie.
people.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that there was it comes out on Switch as well. So it's Switch, Xbox One, and PC, but there's no PlayStation, which I thought was super odd. I don't
That
know.
was weird.
Xbox has it on Game Pass, so I don't know if they're like, hey, don't put it on PlayStation, we'll give you something else. But I think it's weird that it's on Switch and PC, but not PlayStation. If anything, I think Switch would be the one left out there.
Yeah, especially because of the nature of the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Then the next one they announced was, I think it was Alita. Was that what it was? The PC and Switch game, and they said there's a demo available now.
I think so.
I don't even really remember anything about that.
The hell? Let's see, Whoa! Devolver. Digital. Yeah, I can't even get anything pulled up here. Sure, is this loads here? Forgot about some of the stuff I did in this press conference. What did you call it again?
Was it Alita?
Allegia?
Okay.
Olija?
I had an A. Some must just maybe it definitely could have auto-corrected because the movie Alita. I might not notice it did that on my phone.
Man, I just don't remember this at all. Oh my god, my phone just auto-corrected it to Olivia. Oh man, he just keeps auto-correcting it. Olivia
So that's
Wilde.
probably what happened to me then.
I don't. It said something about a harpoon.
Sounds familiar.
Man. Devolver. I'm just too tired right now. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, do you remember this? Hold on. Kind of bounced around. They would like throw it through multiple people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was it called? Is that?
I have no idea how to pronounce this, but it's Olija.
Okay.
Elijah?
Yeah, that was another game that looked cool, but I don't think I'll ever play it. Like I said, it's PC and Switch, and the demo was available at that time, so obviously still now. So you could try it for free. And then they announced Serious, well, I think it's been announced, but they showed Serious Sam 4 for August for Steam and Stadia. And then we noticed no console, and then you looked it up and you said it was coming to console in 2021.
Yep.
Which I'm bummed because I actually loved Serious Sam, but I realize I haven't played all of them, so I'm bummed. But I could probably play the older ones before I even play the fourth one if I really wanted to.
Yeah, man. They finally gave me a reason to finally boot up this my Stadia that I got.
Yeah.
My founder Stadia that I got for $30 on eBay.
Then they ended with the coolest thing and the most fucking ridiculous thing. And I meant to download this. I haven't tried it yet because it's free on Steam, which is Devolverland Expo, which is a simulation of a gaming expo since E3 was canceled.
So
And
great.
yeah, it's just you can go to different booths of all their games and see the different things that are around the convention center.
I just enjoy their constant parody of the gaming industry. It's just great.
You haven't downloaded it yet, have you?
No.
Yeah, so the conference itself, I feel like is actually a bigger part than the games, which is different than majority of these press conferences. And I feel like they even said that because, what did we go over, 5 games here?
Yeah.
And they even, there's a joke in there about how they need to fill in more games, so they make up like 10 fake games. And I feel like that's a parody too, because that seems ridiculous, but if you look at Ubisoft, I don't see many more games at their press conference. So it's pretty accurate, actually, which is kind of sad that that joke is actually somewhat true.
Exactly.
And then Ubisoft. So they started with Watch Dogs Legion, what they announced coming out October 29th. I thought it looked cool, but I thought the other two have looked cool. I've never played them. So this is probably another one of those for me.
Yeah, if you don't like GTA, they're like worst GTAs. That's the only way I can describe it. I mean, maybe the hacking mechanic of it makes it a little bit different, but they're pretty bland.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the weakest games in Ubisoft's collection.
Yeah.
Stall.
Let me count how many games there are so we can see how different this is from Devolver. There is 9 games, so
9.
yeah, but that's still fucking bonkers. Especially because a few of these are fucking mobile games they just ran through, so you can hardly count it. Because next they announced Brawlhalla Mobile for August 6th. Were you joking? Were you excited for that? Because when that passed by, I was like, what the fuck?
Let me look it up again. I remember Brawlhalla, but no, I had no plans of.
Oh, okay. Because I was mocking it before you got there, because you got there late, and then we rewatched part of it. I was like, we're really starting on a mobile game already?
I do remember Brawlhalla on Xbox One, but I think it's almost like a Smash knockoff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But yeah, going to mobile.
Then they announced or showed something called End of Chaos, which was like the most generic mobile game I've ever seen. Certain next 2 games. And then you can butt in any of these if you want to add anything. It's just I feel like this conference again was so underwhelming. Then they announced Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which kind of just looked like a team-based shooter. And
Yeah.
then, I don't know if you noticed, but they had a Sam Fisher model in there. And I feel like they think people are going to be so excited for that, but I think people are going to be real pissed that they're doing
Most definitely.
yeah, that they're finally going back to Splinter Cell, but in like the cheapest way ever and not a Splinter Cell style game at all.
I pre-registered for it.
Did you?
Yeah, it kind of looks kind of cool. I'll give it a go.
No, yeah, I think it looks like a fine game, and I'm not even the biggest Splinter Cell fan. I just feel like that'd be like, well, actually, I was going to say like Halo, but I can give a real example. I remember one of the Xbox press conferences, one of the ones I thought for some reason had real hope that there might be a new Conquerors game announced, like I talked about this one. They, I don't know if you remember this. It was that game, God, it was like a, kind of like a Spore-like game, their creator game. I can't remember what they called it.
Oh, damn it. Yes, I do remember this. It was called, I could see the cover in my head.
Yeah.
Right now.
I,
That thing flopped hard. Yeah, I do remember. I remember that announcement with him in it.
yeah, and they showed the creator, and I was like, oh, that was kind of fun. And then he started sawing through the logo. And I was like, oh my God. And it was Conquerors. There's no fucking way. No wonder this game was so underwhelming. And you can use them as a skin. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, that is so fucking, that is bonkers.
You know, I think that game doesn't even work anymore.
I believe that.
I think they took the servers down.
Oh, wait a second while you're looking it up.
Yeah, it's gonna bother me.
I have it on the tip of my tongue, even the name of it, but I can't remember it. Guess we could go next time while you're looking.
Yeah,
You
go
want
for
me
it,
to know?
man.
Then they went on to show, I think it was a new expansion for Rainbow Six Siege, but I haven't played the base game. I still keep meaning to give that a chance, but that's a game I definitely want to play with you or other people, because I know that community's fucking crazy, and I feel like they're going to be giant assholes if you don't know what you're doing. In my notes, I also noticed that either there's a typo or it autocorrected it to Ravi now 6 Siege. What the fuck is this game? And I realized what happened. You do?
Project Spark.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, god damn it. I would never remember that, but it was right there.
Yeah, I think that got discontinued, and most of the servers are no longer up.
That's what I get for doing conquers like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a prime example of one of the most lovable studios of all time, and they throw his character in Project Spark. And then they showed Hyperscape, which I guess this game has already been shown. I didn't even heard about it. And it's free to play on PC, and it's already available, or I think in beta form, or what do you call it, early access. This game looked cool. It looked like, again, another it was another battle royale. But kind of had a different art style, well, a very different art style, I think. And also a lot of different mechanics. But it's only PC, and I doubt controller support, so I don't know if I'll ever actually play it. And it also looked like the kind of game that would be fucking awesome, but also could be the most frustrating thing in the world with all the fast moving you have and like the teleporting abilities and everything. That I feel like, especially in Battle Royale, that could be the most frustrating thing in the world. And then they showed Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I don't have much to add. I know you're really excited about that. The only thing I'll say again is I don't know how they can even call these games Assassin's Creed anymore. That if it did not say Assassin's Creed, the only part that even kind of looked like it is when he's blending in there for a second and walking with people. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Other than that, I would have thought that was a fucking entirely new game. I mean, I guess it's their right. They own it. And I know why they do it, because if they just call it Valhalla, there'll be millions less copies sold.
Yeah.
But I just think it's weird how much they just stick to Assassin's Creed and make it this completely different thing, which is weird because I think Assassin's Creed is a perfect game that you could just kind of make it anything because the Animus, is that what they call it?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like they changed that storyline so much that doesn't even make sense anymore. So now they kind of even defeated that to making sense.
For sure. I did like the new mechanics they showed, though, of like building your own army and raiding and pillaging,
Yeah.
empowering up your guys and figuring out where to spend money and building up your town. I wanted to see more of that, and that trailer provided it. Just got me more excited.
Then the next thing they announced, which was the thing I was most excited about, but I think I'm just, again, setting myself up for disappointment, was not even a game. It was that they're going to do another Ubisoft press conference. But I feel like I'm just setting myself up for this again. But the only thing that gives me more hope is that this was so fucking underwhelming, especially going to a new generation. And the fact that they're doing another one, and obviously closer to the launch of it, I feel like hopefully means that they're waiting to show games they're not allowed to show or don't want to show yet. But again, I might just be setting myself up for more disappointment, and that it's just going to be another bland conference where they keep showing these same games.
This whole end of cycle, start of a new cycle feels kind of bland.
Yeah.
Even the cases they didn't really deviate that much for them. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Then they ended with Far Cry 6, which the only cinematic trailer, it was really well done, looked cool, but I never really played Far Cry, so
I think you
Going
like
in.
it.
yeah, it's not intentional that I haven't played it. There's just, I feel like there's always one coming out, and I'm like, oh, I could do that, and I just never start.
I think my favorite one is number 2. It's so simi. So ridiculous. Like your gun could jam, your gun could blow up, rusted, clean it, take care of it.
I actually even own one. I own Primal, which I know is looked at as one of the worst ones, but I want
It's one
one
of
of
my
the
favorite ones.
since that seemed the most interesting to me. So I got that on some Black Friday sale.
It's good.
We're almost done here, but I did want to bring up one thing that I forgot to talk about last week that you talked about in your episode, which was the Fallout show. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't go back and watch the episode, which I meant to, but when we were talking about our movies and shows, I feel like I said I wanted Fallout, and I think I even said I prefer a show. And like you said, announced it as an Amazon original, which I don't even think I've watched the Amazon original, but I've heard mixed things. I've heard they don't care about their properties and that a lot of it is done very poorly. But also, it's Amazon, so they're one of the biggest companies in the world, so they have a ton of money that they could do good if they wanted to. I don't know if you said it or not, but do you hear who the creators of the show are?
Yeah, from Westworld.
Yeah, so that gives me a lot of hope that Amazon's not, even if they are maybe doing out other projects.
I think it's a husband and wife. Husband and wife.
Oh, okay.
That's a weird one.
Uh-huh.
It's a weird duo.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Amazon does do that with some products that, or some of these programs, and they are rushed or they don't put a lot of care into it.
Well, I think Amazon, it's very easy to submit your
Oh, so
Your
you can get
stuff.
whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like YouTube with the extra steps. A lot of YouTubers have like re-edited their YouTube videos and put them there.
Yeah.
There's a pretty low bar to get on there, but I feel like Man in the High Castle, some of the actual Amazon exclusives have been pretty high quality.
Yeah, and I feel like the fact that they're doing People Made Westworld, and I should put the date in here, but I know that it's not coming out anytime soon. I feel like it says that they're putting care into it, and I think if they do it right, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, and you got to think too, they're also working on the Lord of the Rings series. And
Yeah.
they wouldn't fuck around with that. That has to be expensive to own.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to add that. I know you said you also are getting sick of their the standby thing and the 50 music. I get that, but for me, that's never going to get old and jacks me up so much. I definitely get why it'd be old to you, though. Then we can do our free games this week. On Xbox One, you got WRC 8, the official game, till July 31st. And you got Dunk Lords till August 15th, which is a ridiculous name, but might actually be good. It was like kind of we talked about, like silly basketball game instead of all these simulations and like dead serious things. Looks like it could be a nice change up. On Xbox 360, got something called Juju till July 31st. I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea either.
On PlayStation Plus till August 3rd, you have Rise of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K20, and Erica.
Erica looks sweet.
I've been hearing
Definitely
good
do that.
things.
Yeah.
I downloaded all of them, but I haven't played any of them yet. Any fake outrage for you this week?
No.
No?
I've been awake for 22 hours at this point.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this would be like, I don't care, I want the episodes to be natural, but I thought this would be like a 40-minute episode, and I feel like this is like another long one
I
again.
think so, yeah. I think so.
So we can end it here. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Current Backlog, and you can email any corrections, questions, or feedback to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And hopefully we'll get in Xbox predictions before the Xbox press conference.
Thank you.